Hello and welcome to the Crow's Nest live stream reaction game show. Wait, that didn't sound right. Well, we're back at it again anyway, whatever you want to call it, folks. As our Seattle Mariners, again, is the tough thing in baseball. You got to go out every single night, every single day nearly throughout the summer, and they are back at it again out there in California, the city of angels, with absolute assassin on the hill. One Shohei Ohtani. Made quick work of Julio in that at-bat. Took him but one pitch. He is almost mythical in his status amongst the major league scene right now at this point. Part hitter, part pitcher. All beast. We'll see if this Mariner lineup can get to him. This indeed has all of the makings and potentially of a pitcher's duel. We've seen a few of those lately, haven't we? A lot of pitcher duels. Oh, those. They can pull the string. No, I'm kidding. I like pitcher duels, like I said. So let's see what we get today. Ty France quickly has himself in a 1-2 hole here. He's gotten himself to 3 pitches, though. Got to give him credit there. And he does strike out as Ohtani hits him with a gnarly slider. Puts a little brown on that one. I'm talking about the dirt. Get your mind out of the gutter. Come on now. And welcome everyone to the live chat tonight. Big Country, Randall. What's up? Hope you guys are doing well. I'm kind of hyped up tonight. I'm going to enjoy watching these pitchers go at it, see if we can maybe get to Ohtani. Boy, if you can get to Ohtani in this first game, how good are you looking through the rest of this series? Series where our Mariners are looking to bounce back after the Rangers just kind of edged us out, didn't they? We leaned on our ace, and our ace said, I don't have it today, fellas. Not quite enough. And then the bullpen also sort of let us down. But it wasn't a horrible series against the Rangers nonetheless. They didn't play bad baseball per se. Of course, the ongoing lingering question that will be not only in this game but throughout the rest of the course this season is hitting with runners in scoring position. Is it going to remain a problem, or is there a solution to it? And that solution being somebody, by God, drive somebody in. It's good to see a Big Country, Randall. How do Megan? Hello. Ethan, what's up? My peeps in the house. Big Country. Been looking at the batting stats since the All-Star break, and it's really ugly. It is. And there is going to be that conventional wisdom that a person, a former hitter in this sport would tell you, or what you might get being, well, they're just going through a slump. Tough part of the season. It's part of the season where you're going to maybe get some of these slumps in an order, especially with the guys who've had a lot of at-bats. With that said, though, I do sort of lean back on this one and say that is indeed maybe a part of this as to what's going on. Another part of this, though, is what you're seeing with a guy like Jesse Winker here, who's drawn a 3-1 count, 2 men out. And Winker's a guy right now hitting 226. It's like he's falling down the slope, and the slope's getting faster. And then he, oh my God, did he get a good pitch? Yeah, he got a strike there. He still took a strike on 3-1. Wasn't free swinging. You know, he didn't say, okay, I'm the third order in this hitter right now. I need to start letting this thing rip. Instead, he was willing to take this to a 3-2 count, and that's why right now, he's leading the major leagues in walks or close to. Gets a pitch to hit and drives it deep and far. Oh my God, it's just going to carry. Let that warm Southern California sun take that ball out on a ride as Winker put a rope on that one. Oh my goodness. Jesse Winks saying the ankle's fine. He draws Ohtani into the corner. He pulls the assassin into him. And then, like John Wick suddenly turns the tables on him at the last second. Wink just got down, too. Dug that ball out on the outside corner. And when I mean get down, that back leg drops. You see it swing there where the back leg goes down to get down to that pitch, because if you don't back leg it, then you just got to uppercut it. But he can kind of somewhat keep a little bit of line on it when you get the back leg down. It's hard. It's a tough technique to pull off on those low pitches. But it also means that he was waiting for that pitch location. He was counting on them to try to attack him there. Great piece of hitting by Jesse Winker there, as I'm marveling at his at-bat to draw to a 3-2 count. And again, why he gives you a little bit of pop. Boy, if you get the Winker last year at the back end of the year, come on. A lefty bat with that would be all right. But how about that? What a way to open things up here with 2 outs. Nice job. We got a wink blast. Got a little wink blast. And quickly a 2-0 count here to Mitch Haniger, who's getting the, I call it the quasi shift. And that's a fastball for strike one. And again, Haniger showing the same thing I'm talking about here. Not just drawing to the 2-0 count, but also being willing to go 2-1. Not just going 2-0. Now I've got a big fat green light, and my zone's going to widen out like this. But instead, no, I'm going to look for a pitch in a place, and if it's not there, I'm taking. And swing and batted foul there. Versus, and I know I'm really going far on this point with the big country, but you know, versus what we've seen with the struggles in the lineup on those bats, which is just a little bit too much of like a puppy that just learned to fetch, got all that energy and knows how to fetch. You're throwing that ball for 6 hours, and they're the same way with swinging the bat. They just, can I swing? Can I swing now? Haniger fought off a tough 2-2 pitch there. Does that look like a changeup? Oh, my thing's not updating. No duh. No Dutch. No, it's not updating. There we go. Mitch with a nice at bat here, hitting .292 on the year. I think he's had a 12-game hit streak, I believe. Hitting every game since he's returned back from the IL. And again, nice job fouling that pitch off. Nice job, Hags. Or I call him the Hangman. I like that better. Kind of got that Hangman beard thing going too. Mariners 7th in the league in earned run average. Angels are 12th. Astros are 2nd. We got to go up against that rotation in the playoffs. It's going to be rough. I hope we're going to have some bats warmed up by that point if we can get to the playoffs, which I know in myself I shouldn't be getting ahead of myself. It's one game at a time. Championship opportunity. I'm just doing it day by day in that way. Haniger with a solid shot out into left field. And what a 2 back-to-back. Boy, after, again, coming off the post-All-Star break with some real tough at-bats to watch. How nice it is watching some of the 2 guys back-to-back here, not afraid to work counts, fight off pitches, and finally get the pitch that they can do something with. And Haniger, how about that? I guess there was an 11-game hit streak before that. Now it's a 12-game hit streak. What's interesting about this, too, is I call it the quasi-shift because you have three guys shifted to the left side, and then you still have the first baseman on the bag. Whereas when you have it flipped and it's a lefty, you'll get what I call the Uber shift, which is three fielders to the right side, and then the shortstop or the third baseman almost right near the bag on second base. That's where you're like, this guy's pulling, no doubt. And Crawford takes 0-1 here. Mariners are doing a very good job in this inning of getting Shohei Ohtani to work. He is already up to 20 pitches here. That's batted up in the air. Second baseman's on it. Got it. Good. Out. But nice first inning here for the Mariners. The home run by Winks. We got a Wink bomb. And again, a great piece of hitting on his part. You know, you usually come through the zone to keep your power. You want to stay in your base. And when you drop that back leg, because as you drop that back leg, right, your where you would hit the ball will drop with it. So you drop with it, and then you're able to still put the big barrel on the bat of the ball, and not only that, get it into a nice, still pretty strong, level approach. But the only reason he was able to get some lift on it is because he had almost one hand the thing up through his follow through, just because he had gotten so deep on the outside part of the plate. Daniel W. Mariners better not lose this game. I hope not, Daniel. We got to take this one. A nice series sweep here would be so nice. Megan says, trip booked and paid for. This next weekend I'll be in Sydney before flying out to L.A. Oh, hell yeah. Hell yeah, Megan. Closer and closer. We're already halfway through August. Ethan says, remember Jared Kelnick hit a homer off Ohtani last year? Vaguely. Yeah, that sounds right. So long ago at this point. Megan, I am between 6 streams, so maybe slow to respond. No worries. No worries. It's a Monday here. It's a chill stream. What is it? Probably Tuesday there. Rob Terrell, really hitting third, though? I mean, nobody's doing anything in this lineup in the middle of the lineup past really Haniger, and France is good, but he's been hot and cold. Julio's been cold since back off the injury on Friday, outside the opening game where he had a couple of hits, of course. But I mean, who's your better option? I guess I might say, unless you want to just go totally like Haggerty or something, which I wouldn't maybe at this point be unopposed to that. You can't keep, how long can you keep trotting out the guys hitting, 220, 200, 195, you can't keep doing that. But certainly we can see Services trying to feel his way through this lineup and find some kind of combination that works, or what the right combination would be. But I can see where he's just trying to get somebody who can get on base kind of by any means necessary at that point, rather than just a guy that's like a little bit like what you get with Santana at times, which is just all or nothing. Yeah, all or nothing, right? Exactly. And on a 1-0 pitch, that's a quick ground out there. So I was getting caught up in looking at stuff. Fletcher is out. First, that will bring up the man, the myth, the legend, Shohei Ohtani. This freaking goes right. Wink bomb. Sorry, I'm behind the chat tonight, guys. I'm low key tonight. I'm a little slow tonight. You know what I mean? I'm in the far right lane tonight. So cruise control's hit. Yeah, I was just gonna have to ride with me on this one. And Ohtani quickly bounces the ball off of his foot, limping around over there. Boy, that's not good. That's also, I believe, on his landing foot for pitching. He doesn't wear any armor on the inside of his leg either. He's hardcore. He's like, that's like the equivalent now of like not wearing sleeves in the NFL in Lambeau in winter. And did he just do it again? I'm sorry. He just did it again. Oh, Lord. Oh, I think that might have stung him in the Frank and Beans. Oh, Lordy. Oh, my God. Poor guy. And he hits us on the ground into the shift to Adam Frazier at second base. Quickly throws it over to France. Ohtani's going to walk very gingerly back over to the dugout. His hands he's trying to move as though if he could be walking on his hands right now, he would. Taking back-to-back foul balls off the end part of his instep. Got a little look like on the knee, and then it was a little bit like the magic bullet on that second one where it was knee, and it looked like crotch. And he definitely had a little bit on that reaction on the second one of like when you got the crotch shot where you just... I felt that, but I could not laugh. That was pretty funny. And this ball is swung on and hit hard and deep. Oh, no. And that is going to be a triple, but Haniger came up and center field's ball. Haniger and Julio aren't really looking at each other there. I think that this might be ruled a home run. Julio had it. Both of them had it. Center fielder's got to call that guy off there. It hits the top of the deal and comes over, so we'll see what they rule. That was weird. Megan says problem is I hate flying. Yeah, I don't like flying anymore either. I don't. I'm due for a trip to go see my mom, and I'm really not wanting to go fly. That ball was hit hard, far, deep, in one of the deepest stretches of the park. Both players did a great job of tracking the ball. Oh, my God, and it's right on Haniger's glove, hits right on Julio's wrist, too. And then Haniger comes up with a little bit of, like, shaking off an arm there. Let's see what they give him on the call here for the review. Call's been overturned. It's a home run. Yeah, got up on top of that fence. That's a tough break. Tough break. Julio had it, and I know Haniger's trying, but that's also two guys that haven't been playing the outfield all season. You know, the communication isn't as smooth when you got guys that you got to constantly flipping out. So these guys just started, playing back together on Friday again. Tough spot there. Tough spot there. It's got to be frustrating for Castillo. Daniel W., how mad is Kobe Bryant right now? Pat McAfee talked about how much a bully Pickens was with him for today. I hope the coaching staff is showing him this and getting him pumped up so it doesn't happen again. Yes. And that's a final out of the inning there on a ground out, but the Angels do get one back. And hopefully everybody's okay on the outfield there, most importantly. Yeah, I mean, Daniel, I'm sure you've seen the cut-ups as well. Pickens was doing this to guys in college too. And I'm trying to think of how to put this. A lot of receivers in this league could be doing that if they wanted, like George Pickens is. Okay? So like a lot of receivers could do that to cornerbacks. Because what you're doing there is you're not doing what it looks like on tape. You're not taking a guy and I'm sure McAfee blew this thing up because I love McAfee, he's great, but they're going to kind of make it show how cool, but if you really break it down into it, Pickens is matched up on a cornerback he's told is probably dropping into zone more often than not. He's not going to play you man. So he's not going to be probably giving you a stiff jam at the line of scrimmage. And so that means that his first step's going to be into sort of like we call the bail technique. And if a receiver knows that, he can come off the line of scrimmage and just wham. And it certainly takes a decent amount of strength to still pull it off and all that, but there's a reason the receivers don't do that on a normal basis. And I love Pickens to death as a player. He's legitimate, but he's going to get taught a lesson in this league. What happens when you do that at the grown man level? This isn't college. And this preseason game, he's going to pull that off and whatever. I wouldn't be surprised to see a vet eventually pull him aside and say, Rook, it's all pretty and stuff, but you keep doing that. And I'm just saying, like the NFL, again, you could do this to a lot of guys across the league. A lot of teams play zone. You could have receivers playing this way, and I understand, like, well, what if they could one? Because if you do it, it's kind of looked upon as like, I asked my buddy about it, D-Mac, a guy that, I go to. He's won a national title back in college and stuff, played with pros, and he's like, if somebody did that to me, we're throwing hands. I'm gonna beat his ass on the field. I was like, well, Kobe couldn't do that, D-Mac. I was like, he's trying to make the team. He's like, all that's well and good, but you do that to me, it's going to be more than words. And that's what I would say about that is that he's going to get in a fight or somebody's going to blindside him. All right, no outs here. Frazier up at the plate. Fouls the first pitch off. A slider. Devin Martzall, how's it going? Ethan, you're good. I can see you. All right, Frazier up here on a 1-1 count now. 283 says, did Julio call Mitch off? I'm going to make a guess that Mitch didn't hear him, or that Julio didn't say it because maybe Julio didn't anticipate Haniger getting to that ball. And I'm going to guess the latter there. And again, I think mostly the issue there is two guys that just haven't played a lot of time out there in the outfield together. Frazier's got this count to 2-1. Hits it on line. At least the base hit. It's going to get down there. Let's see if he'll stick on first base there with nobody out. Nice piece of hitting there by Frazier. You do wonder here a little bit with Ohtani again after a couple of those balls hit inside off of the inner part of him. Good. Julio and Mitch are talking. It's good to see that they're talking. It's good to see that they're trying to get the thing. I didn't hear him. I just read Mitch Haniger's lips. He said, I didn't hear him. And Julio's saying, I called you. I called it. Did I? Oh, that's a cool moment. All right. That was a cool moment in the dugout there. I'll talk about what I just saw there in a second because that was interesting. 0-1 here to Cal Raleigh. Runner on first. Nobody out. 283, I think we got our answer there in that little conversation. I'm not a lip reader. I'm not John Boy with that stuff, but I did get a little bit of tidbits from that conversation. I do sometimes. I did stay in a Holiday Inn last night. Cal up there doing that free swing and approach thing that I was talking about, where you go, okay, come on, Cal. Chill down the dumper. We're on the highway. You can't drop the dumper down right here. Let's get to the rest stop. 0-2 pitch now. Ohtani comes right back at him. Oh, dangerous pitch there too. That's a 96-mile-an-hour fastball that found the upper reaches of the plate. Mariners got Ohtani up to 28 pitches here. Daniel W., thoughts on Ugo Amadi? They were going to release, as you know, Daniel, and anybody that has been following the Hawks nest, I'm going to start putting together swing and a miss there on a fastball. Ohtani just went right at him. Wow, gutsy there he's got the fastball to do it. Dead center in the zone, just threw the heater. I'm sure, I'm absolutely positive Cal was sitting on something else there. Ugo is going to get released, as I've been kind of saying since probably about the start of off season, that this is where I likely saw this going. And the big reason being is that the money situation is the one that you got to keynote in. If you have a player that's in a slot position like Ugo was, kind of giving you middling play, not quite league average. And Ham Haggerty up to the plate, swag drip so hard. Strike one at the knees. Haggerty don't mind getting in counts. Haggerty will get in counts all day. And he'll go see about your mother. He's that kind of guy. Haggerty hitting .317. Is he qualifying for the batting crown yet? I don't know. I don't pay attention. I mean, Ham don't matter. He don't care. He just balls as he bounces into an easy double play. No, he doesn't, because this is Ham drip Swaggerty, and he's going to run that ball out. Routine double play, even for a man with wheels. Not for the wheels of Ham. He picked it up and put it down on that one. I mean, that was smoothly done by the Angels infield. Great reach, great feed from the second baseman back to the shortstop. The Ham man just can. So the $2.5 million in salary he was going to make, Daniel, was the big key point of this and where his kind of play has been. And this is going to bring up Lamb now. Jake Lamb hitting 224, 2 home runs. That ball's low. Of course, the recent addition at the trade deadline. Mariners running out a good amount of lefty bats today to counter the right-handed Ohtani. And Lamb is not getting quite the uber shift, but also not quite the quasi shift. I call it the mid shift. It's like a mid rift a little bit, but for the infield diamond. Lamb pats on his helmet and gets a little bit of pine tar on them gloves. Says, I'm about to hit a home run off Shohei effing Ohtani. I'm about to make this Ohtani time null and void. 1-0. Here we go. Low. Ball 2. Nice job, Jake. That way, Jake. So, $2.5 million, which becomes fully guaranteed after week 1. Middling play at the slot cornerback position and a multitude of other options that you're going to be able to bring into the slot as we move into the season, including Justin Coleman, Marquise Blair, Kobe Bryant, perhaps Trey Brown, 2-0. And he throws away that patience on 2-0. It's a long run for the left fielder, but he gets over there and makes the play for the final out of the inning. Well, the Mariners were able to press and threaten a little bit, but not quite do much more than that. We will go now into the bottom of the second, knotted up 1-1. So you've got those factors at play, right? And that's what leads to a decision like this, is that it's not just made this kind of choice just on his play alone, or that he doesn't look good this year. It's like they probably went to this offseason, they went, okay, he had 1 year there who was kind of okay for us, and then last year was not good. We got some worries with him on a size aspect of things. He struggled in tackling and in coverage last year, so we can't really lean on his strength with him. He's not necessarily a standout on the special teams unit. You know, $2.5 million. What are we paying for on that? Especially with the other options that we can make, you know, we can bring in here that are going to be cheaper, that are going to maybe cheaper and better. And I think at the end of the day, that just pushes off from their standpoint where they go, yeah, this doesn't make this worthwhile. And so it was announced, of course, this is the new NFL move, Daniel, is that it gets announced that you're going to have a player get released by a team. And they don't actually release him at that point. It's just them literally like a fisherman casting out the line with the crappy piece of bait on the end of it. And they know the fish isn't going to bite the bait, right? They know the fish isn't going to bite the bait. But they might just find that one fish who's just hungry enough, hasn't had enough to eat, that maybe see that, well, it's better than nothing. And that's kind of what you're doing here. Arcega-Whiteside is a guy I have to own. If you go back and watch one of the old Hawks Nest episodes, and I'm talking you go back way deep, I did a deep breakdown on the receivers all in that draft, including guys like A.J. Brown. Didn't look at DK, but that was only because I thought we had no chance to get him in that particular draft. I had no idea somebody was going to let that physical freak drop past the 10th pick in the draft. It blew my mind, frankly, because I did look at these guys, and he was built different in a draft of really good wide receivers. But Arcega-Whiteside's been a pretty quantifiable bust for the Philadelphia Eagles. Much probably like the equivalent of L.J. Collier of the receivers. And I know that they've got it listed at tight end, but look, he's not a tight end. First pitch, I looked a little outside. Did we get the call on that one? We did. First pitch strike there by Castillo. It took him a mere 9 pitches that first inning. Ball on a slider inside. So he's a reclamation project. You're getting something for nothing, basically, because they were going to release him if this wasn't the case. So I wouldn't get really excited about Arcega-Whiteside. And that's a swing and a miss there for a 1-2 count here on Jared Walsh. That was a really nice changeup. What has he done here? He did force. So, yeah, he went 4-seam, changeup. Yeah, it comes back to the fastball. I like that combination. As a power pitcher, when you can really change the velocity pitch to pitch like that, you'll never get a hitter really, truly able to lock in on the fastball. First, you know those guys that'll just, their fastball is so good they can pump it constantly in the zone. Just hammer it almost all day. And Jared Walsh has done a nice job drawing this into a 3-2 count. Castillo's missed twice with the fastball here. Fouled back. But Ortega-Whiteside's he's a good, he's like a poor man's Drake London. That's what I'd label him. Like at least 8 or 9 pours. It's likely Marquise Goodwin will beat out Ortega-Whiteside. But we have some injuries there right now, I think, too, with just some nagging injury things going on. Rob Terrell, I've seen that play several times, and Pickens is definitely pushing off. He did it several times a game, and they didn't call one of them. And Wallstraw's a walk here. He's maybe crafty with it, I guess, you know. I haven't gone back and watched the play because it just hurts my heart to see our guy Brian get cooked, but I do need to go back and take a look at it. Y2KA says if you make cheap membership, I'll sign up. Just saying. I think I've got it down like at $9.99 a month. It has a certain marker you have to go to, I think, minimum. Are you thinking like 50 cents? I could do a 50-cent pop. Castillo with the wine delivery. There's 2 levels to it, so you don't have to do the $4.99 one. And that's 0-1 here to Steven Dugar. DK could probably put every single defensive back on their ass if he wanted to. He could. But it's also like, again, that's the thing I'm saying, is like it's, and boy, the umpire's giving us a little bit of a zone here early on tonight. This inning alone, Castillo's had a couple pitches that were, you know what I mean? See if he messes around here with Steven Dugar hitting 180 on the season or just goes right after him. Runner on first, nobody out here. Bottom of the second. Hit foul. Dugar stays alive. Should be back in the lineup soon. Rob Trammell should be back in the lineup soon, right? I mean, he could. We're going to reach a point in the season where you're definitely going to have to run him through some rehab starts for me. Okay, that's good. 283 says he's in AAA right now. Well, that's good to hear. Because I would prefer that. I want his bat hot. You know what I mean? I don't want him coming back having to, well, look, give me a couple weeks, coach, give me a couple weeks in the lineup. It's going to get a little rough. I just got to get nothing simulates live action, right, coach? It's like, okay, we'll do that in AAA. We need starting getting guys in this lineup that do something, that are providing a component to this lineup, even if it's a cobble component. Cobble it together. But it's got to get better than what it's been, especially post All-Star break. All right, 0-2 pitch now. Again, batted foul, staying alive. Ethan says, damn, we got a lot of lefties in tonight. Well, I can't blame Service for this. It's not his fault, but he's a desperate man. You've backed that old Wolverine into a corner, and he's doing all he can to try to fight his way out. So you got a right-handed pitcher. The conventional rule of thumb in baseball is then throw a bunch of lefties out, because then you get at least the advantageous lefty-righty matchup all the way down the lineup as much as you can pull it off. It's not the worst way to go. There's been great teams, in fact, that have built themselves on essentially running that, having multiple positions, running a rotation. This left fielder plays against these kind of pitchers. This right field, this guy bats left, this guy bats right. And boy, Dugar's just batted a ton of balls foul here. That's about the 4th one he's hit foul. 3rd or 4th one. But Trammell, hopefully Rob can give us something back in this. I am hopeful in that as well. Certainly Haniger's gone back into the fray here. And with Haggerty on the other side, you're feeling better with those 3 guys with Julio. But I'm sure what you're thinking of is potentially that DH position. And I have to think with what you're getting from Santana. Swing and a miss on a 97-mile-an-hour fastball at the top of the zone. He said, here you go. Go get it, Dugar. Dugar said, I cannot. I cannot catch up with that. Daniel W. I'm happy for Ugo, though. He was a good soldier for us and super humble guy. I met him when we just drafted him, and he was all sir this, sir that, and super polite. I was only like 25, too. Yeah, he's not been... That's where, too, it's always you come back to, and you know, some people in this situation will go, oh, he's just been so bad. He was kind of near the territory bad last year, but he had been all right the year before that. And there had been moments he had kind of showed those flashes. We got more out of Ugo Amadi than we got out of LJ Collier. And he was a fifth-round pick. And he might still be able to, you know, still become something here in this league. It's his story's not necessarily done. A different scenario, different scenery may be beneficial to him. And Castillo's come out here quickly, 2-0 to Max Stassi. 1 out. Mariners and Angels are tied up 1-1. Fraternal Cloud, I think quarterback, 3-0. I think quarterback and defensive inside are the most important positions in football. Seahawks playing Adams and Metcalf, that much money is questionable. I think you're right on a rule of thumb basis for Fraternal Cloud that I would say I think that's an approach that is truly employed by, I think, about not 90%. Let's go at least as far as quarterback and offensive line. There's got to be at least 80% of the teams in the league that are trying to aspire to that. And Castillo's managed to get himself a strike back in this count. Stasi is a man that is able to draw a walk, so you've got to. He's going to have his eyes set there. You got to make him earn it. He gets a foul back there on a 97-mile-an-hour fastball. So I do think that that's a normal approach Fraternal Cloud of most all teams, but it's not saying that this is how I want this to be with it. It's just, this is, again, I always got to make sure I'm prefacing because I don't want to get confusion there. But it's that this is how it looks to me like the team is trying to build this team for the upcoming future. And that's a strike 3. Nasty pitch there. That was nasty. Just a nasty pitch at the bottom of the zone. Well, one thing with Stas, he draws a lot of walks, but caught looking a bunch too. And look, it's right there on the bottom of the zone. You got to protect there, buddy. That's a good pitch. Steele's had a couple other ones from the ump, but that wasn't on that one. You know what I mean? I'm going to take a while to stay with the chat tonight. I just know I'm going to be behind, so I'm feeling very monologue-y tonight, so you guys are going to have to deal with it. Not so much ranty, but monologue-y. 1 runner on. 2 out. Ooh, hit hard in the gap. This is going to be trouble. Haniger up with it. Quickly gets the throw in with his gun. That will hold the runner at third. But we got first and third, 2 men out. Boy, he was all over that pitch. All over that pitch. Left it right in the middle of the plate. We saw this with Gilbert the other day. As Gilbert was overall would be good and fine, but whenever he would lose himself and find the middle of that plate, they showed a great heat tracker stat at the end of the game the other night of all the pitches that were hit, all the hits on the night, and they all happened from him right in the middle of the zone, right dead center, and that was definitely one in the same kind of place. Andrew Velasquez up at the plate now, hitting 179 on the year. Let's see if Castillo can shake his way out of trouble. Fraternal Cloud, so I think that they're building to a different type here. And does that mean that it's guaranteed that it can't work because it is a different approach from so many other teams in the NFL? I don't think so. Does it mean maybe that there's a more tried and true path? It's like this is definitely, there's a lot more guys you're competing with here. It's more tried and true path. And it's quickly 0-2 here to Velasquez. Got a cat hair tickling my nose. Come on, Luis. Let's close this thing down. Got him. Straight baller heat. That away. And that will end the inning at 1-1. So I think what they have to do in our situation here is fit to what their designs are, and whether there are other approaches or not. The only thing I would ask from them is that they just make sure that if this is the way they want to go, then you embrace it fully. So if you're not looking at trying to build a team, I think that I would argue they're going to try to do the offensive line approach, because when you look to that 2012, let's say, blueprint, when Russell came in and they got the rookie quarterback who was pro-ready on a rookie deal, they did so also having an offensive line that was the most expensive in all of the NFL when they're winning their Super Bowl and through those years. I think that is a part they're going to angle for. And I think eventually the defensive line thing will be shaken out. But again, this also comes back to a 3-4 defense, which in itself, Fraternal Cloud has not ever really usually leaned on the bedrock of the defense being its 3 down linemen. Maybe the zero technique, but the defensive ends have always been kind of a bonus thing to have in a 3-4 defense. You want your linebackers doing the work. And in the modern NFL, with the cover 2 shell defenses and the exotic blitzing attacks, if you can have guys that can also blitz even from the safety position at that point, it's also helpful because it just makes you that much more exotic and unpredictable. But I agree with you that it is more of the tried and true way that the people go. Devin says maybe Whiteside is just target for Drew and Geno since we have some injuries. Let him go at the end of the preseason. If I was a betting man, Devin, I would put money on the fact that Arcega-Whiteside's not making the roster. I know our receiver position. I know our receiving core is not exactly at its strongest right now, but it's not that far back. Daniel W. Megan trade deadline. Oh, did I miss the thing on Megan? Megan, how late is it too late for a player to be traded in the NFL? Is it because of what happened with the Seahawks today? The trade deadline was that week 6, I think. So anything before week 6, you can move a person. Stephen Cottrell says maybe the Seahawks will trade LJ for a Roquan. Wouldn't that be awesome? We could do one of those deals where just here's all of our broken pieces and unfit toys. Here you go. Can we have your shiny one? Thank you. Thank you. Supposedly, the Bears are not hearing much of a market for what they were wanting initially. And I'm initially believing that what they were trying to out there and ask was for a first-round pick. And they got a lot of phones hung up on them. As people are like, we're not going near that. Julio up to the plate now. 268 on the year, 18 home runs. Boy, he is just in a lineup of guys right now just really hammered. I don't know if he's trying to press a little bit since coming back off the injury, but it's 2 straight at-bats now. He's first pitch swinging, and that's a pitch not in the zone. Ohtani's not going to give him something here if he knows he's going to be as free swinging as that. I wouldn't. Great pitch. And good take there. That's a 95-mile-an-hour fastball down around the knees, outside corner. He just hit him with a pitch inside. Let's see what the rookie's thinking here now. 0-2. Fights off a tough pitch. That was I don't know what you think, Chad. That was borderline, I guess. You gotta at least protect. Mark Hoppercorn, how's it going? Hello. 283, what linebackers do you want the Seahawks to target outside of Roquan? We're pretty much screwed if Brooks gets injured. And that ball's bounced foul. The only name I'm really aware of at this point that's even really viable on the open market is Dante Hightower. Is the one guy I wasn't sure if he had re-signed with the Patriots or not, and he's older than dirt. All right, Julio up here, 0-2. He has fought off a couple of tough pitches from Ohtani, who's just trying to close the door fast. You can see Ohtani kind of aware maybe that he's thrown a lot of pitches here early on. He's still coming after hitters early on when he gets them 0-2 in the count. Woo, he left one at the top of the zone. That's hit hard the other way. That's angling into the crowd. Did it turn around the foul pole? It did. Home run. Julio Rodriguez. What a shot. We saw a couple nights ago, Julio gave it a ride so high and so far, that thing went up over the top of a foul pole, and he got screwed, I tell you, out of a home run. This one, he decided, I did it the left way. Now I'm going to go do it the right way. 98-mile-an-hour fastball up over the zone. He torqued and rotated on that ball like only the special power hitters can to get and generate that much power the opposite way. I can't tell on the replays. These cameramen sometimes need to be shot. No, I'm kidding. Come on, cameraman. Like, are they saying it's foul? They overturned it. Man. I low-key thought he got kind of screwed the other night with that home run. They don't look happy on the deal. They look like they don't think it was right either. I don't know on that chat. Did you guys see something on that was distinguishable, that it was overturned? That it's chat silence. You guys must be as much in thought as me. 283 says, let's go. I mean, I don't see it break the yellow. Like, after review. Foul ball. If somebody's going to review this after this game, because this is like the other one where it was. They finally showed the damn angle. Why they wait 15 minutes to show us the angle that would show us clearly? They keep showing the one to the right. They got the one from the center there. But the one they just showed finally from the center angle did kind of show it go to the right. That stinks. Julio just missing 2 home runs on this road trip. The last one was such a moonshot, too. I mean, it was such a thing of beauty. It should be on like a highlight reel for him, you know. He's going to have a lot of those in his career, but that one should have been right there with him. Swing and a miss on a slider on the outside part of the plate. Ohtani said, yeah, I know I've got my pitch count out, but I'm going to bury a couple on him here. That was kind of freaky. He just took a 98-mile-an-hour fastball opposite field with power. I'm going to go no on that one. It's a tough pitch there because Julio, it's right there on the zone. Great pitch by Ohtani. And Julio kind of looks frustrated there, shaking his head. I mean, he had the best angle of all, right? Like, you could see that clearer than everybody from when you're running it, walking to first base, watching it. You're staring right at it, walking at it. You've seen the whole flight of the ball. So if he's mad about it, I mean, somebody's gonna slow-mo this. And Ty France quickly hits it out on the ground there for out number 2. 283 says it looks like a home run to me. If they do replays of this after this game and New York couldn't get this right, we shouldn't have the camera angle, and it looked unclear on most of the replays to me. It kind of looked like on that one, maybe it could have been foul, but then I didn't get it. They just showed it once and then went back to the right angle on it again. But somebody's going to catch that mid angle and stay on it, and when they do, we'll know the truth. Winker takes a strike here. 2 men out now, top of the 3rd. Oh. Rob says at that angle it looks like a home run. At the mid angle, You use the replay booth. It's got to be, what's the word I'm looking for? It's got to be, 12 jurors all agreed. Conclusive. If it's on the line, if tie goes to the runner, then it's a home run. The call goes to the field. That was conclusive to somebody? I think he got costed the other night too. I think he just hit it too high and deep over the foul pole. It freaked him out, and they didn't know what to do. And that ball was outside, 2-1. I'm still kind of steaming here for Julio. Sorry. This ball's hit up into the air, and it drops. That was kind of silly. He just kind of put a meager little, like, I mean, it wasn't a bad stroke. Just the ball came off the bat a little weird there. Hey, it's a base hit, though. And the Mariners continue to make Ohtani work in every single inning so far. Megan says it should be like in cricket. When in doubt, goes the batter. It should. We see football doing the same thing at times where they'll wildly overturn stuff that's not conclusive. All right, runner on first now. Ohtani dealing almost hits Haniger. And if you guys notice on my thumbnail tonight, I put the moniker Headhunters underneath the Angels for my thumbnail tonight. I almost, instead of calling them the Angels, called them the Headhunter on my thumbnail. Still might do that on future times we play this team if they continue to throw it at our guys' heads. And that's pretty close to the head. I told you, Shohei's an assassin. Baby-faced assassin. He looks all even keel and I'm ice cold, but he's just looking for you to drop your defenses. 2-0 count here for Mitch Haniger. Had a really nice at bat his first time up, driving a single out to left field. 3-0 now. Haniger able to hit it so hard he could bop it through the shift, which is a tough thing to do in this day and age. You get three guys to one side of the diamond, they're pretty much going to cover almost anything hit to that side if it's in their range. It's on the ground. 3-0. He was taken, as we saw him do before on 2-0. Mitch being very patient here. Again, love to see it. Not worried about going a little bit deeper into the count. Pitch wasn't where he's looking for. Ohtani made a nice pitch on the outside part of the plate. 3-1. Whoa, he took a nice hack at that one. That one was where he wanted it. Ohtani put a 95-mile-an-hour fastball right in the middle portion of the plate. And Haniger eyes got big, and he knew that was the one right there. That was his money pitch on that at bat. All right, 3-2. Ohtani now up to 50 pitches in the game already, not through 3 innings. Inside, ball 4. A fantastic at bat. Well, you hoped when Mitch Haniger was coming back that he would be able to revive the vital need for a bat in this lineup and provide that need, and he has done so. More even so than I think we could have asked for a guy that spent so much of this year on the IL, trying to rehab to get back. He is in midseason form. In football, we'd say he's got fresh legs. Got fresh legs out there. So draws the walk. 2 outs now. Ohtani working from the stretch. Crawford up the plate. Takes ball 1. Good eye by Crawford there. That was a slow rolling curveball. JP hitting .258 on the year for 5 home runs and 29 RBIs. He was 0 for 1 his first at bat. Strike. Fastball at the knees. Rob says, hopefully we get Ohtani out of the game in the 6th. That would be my goal here in this game with it. Hold the line until you can get him until you can get to this Angel bullpen. Ohtani struggling to hear the call. He's putting his glove up to his ear. Steven Cottrell, Ty needs to take notes on that at bat by Haniger. Agreed. Ty swings back and forth. Sometimes he's patient, but a lot of times he'll get into that spot too. And I give him the benefit of the doubt on that because at least when he is free swinging, no matter where the ball is, if he's swinging for it out of the zone, he does a good job of barreling up the ball. So at least he's hitting line drives and he's got a pretty level stroke. But it does come down to, again, when you're, when you are struggling at the plate, when you're naturally not in your zone or hot streak or feeling great, everything's feeling comfortable, like when you are hitting well, you do have to do a little more manufacturing. And Crawford hits this one up in the air down the line, and this will get down before the fielder can get there. 1-2. That's why I harp on it a little bit, is I'll give you the benefit of the doubt you're in a cold streak. Now, beyond going into the cage at 6 a.m. every day and hitting balls off tees, what are you doing in your approach at the plate to help yourself work your way through that? And when you start getting some walks, when you start working off the line drive approach, when you start having a 2-strike count, ability to maybe not choke on the bat, I'm going to say, because hitters, God forbid hitters do that in this day and age, but at least adjust your stroke from I'm going to swing from the back of my heels to more of now even stroke. Again, I can get off my bat a little bit later at that point, locate the pitch a little bit quicker because of the fact I'm not trying to just wind up and hammer it. Two. Winker just went over and high-fived, I think, the guy that he had punched a couple times. Nice to see that guy knows he's his daddy. High. Ball 3. JP. And this is another guy in this lineup I give a lot of benefit of the doubt for, because most of the bats you watch with him, he's working counts, he's fighting through, he's got a type of swing, much like a little bit like Ichiro, where it's like, I'm not looking to drive home runs here. I just want to try to hit line drives. And that's going to allow you to stay alive in counts a little bit longer at times. And he does that. And he does it to good acclaim here as he bounces the hit right up the middle bit. And up the field, here he comes, the throw at the plate. Safe. Winker's ankle's looking good. Not so old man runny. And Crawford comes through. Approach equates out to success. Not every time, but you're going to find your way back through the woods if you just follow the breadcrumb trail. And that's just what JP did on that at bat. Fought through some tough pitches, stayed patient, didn't swing out of the zone, and Ohtani gives him something in the middle of the zone, and he drives it. Nice job by Wink to get there, too. You got to get home on that base hit with 2 outs. You got to. 2-1 now. Frazier steps up to the plate, and he's first pitch swinging. This ball will be knocked out to the third base side. Foul. Ethan says, this is such a huge load of BS that was a home run. The ball goes behind the foul pole, so freaking stupid. It was dumb. Y2K says, JP Crawford has the lowest strike rate since July 1st, they said pregame. Well, he's a leader in this clubhouse, and I'm not, look, I'm just a talking idiot head here in me bringing this up. There's no doubt that Scott Service and no doubt the hitting coach, that ball's high. Boy, the ump wanted to give him the strike on that one, but he didn't. Good job, ump. Stay with the gut. Stay with the gut. But I'm sure they're hearing it as well from these guys, and Crawford being the leader is trying to be at the forefront of showing these guys this is what you got to do here. This is young lineup in certain spot. Here's what you guys, how do you get yourself out of this? I think some of it though too is a little bit of, you've got some, I'm going to go prideful guys in this locker room in their approach a bit too, who've been in this league a long time and have had a lot of good success. And so getting them to change their approach is maybe a little easier said than done type of situation at times, combined with the youthful guys like a Cal Raleigh. Or Dylan Moore, technically. All right, Frazier's in a 1-2 count here now. Ohtani is up to 60 pitches here, not even through 3 innings. So, indeed, it does look like we're going to get a good chance to at least work this bullpen. 1-2 pitch. Strike 3. Threw him a little splitter there. That's tough. You're looking fastball probably or a breaking ball. And he comes with option door number 3. And Frazier goes, there was a door number 3? Ohtani's got a door number 3? Yeah, he does. So, Zach the Potato, don't forget Mike Trout is injured. That helps things out considerably, right? I mean, that helps things out as much as any player who could be injured that we could be going up against in this entire sport. No player has more home runs against a major league team in the history of baseball than Mike Trout does the Mariners. It is a ridiculous stat. I will tell you, Zach, I would get more mad about it, but I mean, the fellow old heads in this, and you may be one of them as well, can attest to this. There have just been hitters over the years. It doesn't matter whether it's the Kingdom or the new park, whatever we want to call it now, T-Mobile, Clink, whatever. There's always these hitters that come along that just wreck us, and we can't stop them. It's why I advocate for that. You know, this would be the hack-a-shack approach of baseball, which is just walk the sucker. Just walk him. Walk him and deal with the rest of the lineup, especially in this modern day of hitting where hitting is so hard for so many different lineups. I do bang probably a little too hard on our own lineup because when you do put in perspective of what most of the rest of the league is trying to work through to generate runs in their lineups, everybody's having a tough climb here. Everybody playing in a legitimate park, you know, it's not got just a super lineup attached to it, is having issues with generating runs. So Zach, I feel bad for Mike Trout. I do too. I think he's going to have a little bit of this. I really do feel bad for Mike Trout too. You know, you do because he hasn't gone to a contending team necessarily, yes. You also feel bad for him, though, because, you know, probably hasn't been appreciated as much in his greatness as he should have been through his prime and how good he was. And he'll be one of those guys that people will do YouTube videos on and it'll be like, wow, he was that productive. And quickly 0-1, and Castillo continues to work the zone here, and that's a base hit for Fletcher at the top of the lineup. This is trouble. This is trouble. Nobody out. Shohei Ohtani coming up to the plate now. And Castillo just hung one there. Just a hanging slider. Kind of lucky that's all Fletcher did with it, quite frankly. Shohei Ohtani comes up to the plate now. 254 in the year with 26 home runs, 68 RBIs. Mariners working the uber shift up against Shohei. Castillo comes set. Inside ball. Big Country says Ty's been uncharacteristic since coming back. Injury still a problem possibly. You have to wonder on it. You do. You know, with where this lineup was at, any hitter out there that is a guy in this lineup part of this team, if you're somewhat injured, you're just doing everything you can to fight back on it. This ball is bounced foul on the first base side, 1-1. Rob Terrell, love the small ball. Me too, man. Small ball can get you some runs. It really can. Especially we got runners in. We hit with runners in scoring position this game. Wow. Ohtani takes ball 2-1. Steven says, come on, Frazier. I knew I was asking for too much. Still a good inning, though. You got him to work. You got him working. You're up. You're still up in this game right now. It's a little scary here at this moment. Shohei 0 for 1. Good slider there. Ohtani manages to keep the hammer pulled back. He pulled the trigger, but then caught it with his thumb. Rob, I wonder how well Ohtani will pitch when they put in the pitching timer. Strike. Yeah, well, Ohtani wanted the walk call there, and he didn't get it. It's a good pitch there by Castillo. He did not give in to him. It's a borderline call, definitely, but it looked right there on the edge. Just a great pitch. You don't want to walk him here and put 2 runners on, nobody out. Swing foul back. 3-2. It will remain. Big Country says offense has been good overall today. Agreed. It's good overall. You still got a couple guys in the lineup that are sort of still do, but it's too much. I'm not gonna ask for everybody to do it. Just give me the majority of the guys, being patient with it, and that'll work. It's at least a step in the right direction. Here's the Y, the delivery. Strike 3 inside at the knees. Ohtani didn't like it. He shakes his head. No. It did indeed look like a great pitch. 4-seam fastball running from the inside right on Ohtani. It probably looks early on to him like that's 3-4 inches inside. And that thing just ran right back inside. Those are the nasty pitchers of the modern age. They can hit the heights on the gun and get the movement with it. It used to be when you're going to get the heights on the gun, you aren't getting the movement. But these guys get these pitches that are just running, rising. 1 man out now. Runner on first. Luis Renifo up at the plate. Renifo. Just a replay of the Julio home run, and I can confirm that it should not have been overturned. Those jackasses in New York. You're wondering early on this season when Julio couldn't get a strike call for his life if the league had it out for him a little bit. There's been 2 different home runs now in the matter of a couple of days that get overturned. I might just for fun and giggles do a video on the channel I'll do like the Julio conspiracy, and I'll do it like black and white on him and like super fast close-ups and super like eerie music. And Castillo's got a count of 0-2 here now to Luis. We got some Luis on Luis violence going on right here. A lot of Luis competition here. Bat on the ground. Let's just double play ball, and it does turn out to be so. That will end the inning. So another inning here where Castillo's got to work himself through a little bit of trouble, but indeed is able to do so with some great pitches there to Ohtani. That was the at-bat in this inning. He placed and spotted those pitches just at the right spots. Very nice to see. On 2-3, that annoys me and pisses me off, though. Like, this is something that's like filed under, this is still a problem in the modern age. In 2022, you guys can't tell how a ball goes around a foul pole. Like, really? HD, 4K, 5 camera angles, and they can't get it right. I'm surprised, but I'm just still also like, all right, whatever. We're still going to win this game. Julio's still going to be great. Devin Martall said Trout had made some crazy catches in center against us as well. The one where he climbed the wall and hung there till the ball got there. He is. He's also a really good fielder. Yeah, he was a real 5-tool player. And, he just, I don't know, he had it out for us, I guess. I guess growing up, our Mariners, I don't know. Some players, it's just that way. There's just some weird pairing of energy. And boy, it's tough for him right now where you look at his injury situation and what I think he's dealing with the back thing. And that's just one of those things that so hard to get under control because it can be so unpredictable. Ethan, the Angel fan, was recording for 3 minutes. Just end the recording on Ohtani getting caught looking. Exactly. And you don't have to edit it. Rob Terrell says, I was waiting for the ump to do the splits after that nasty pitch by Castillo. Of course, referencing, that's a great reference, Rob. That's, of course, referencing Leslie Nielsen and the Naked Gun at the end of the movie where he starts to get spurned on by the crowd. He's playing. He's an undercover. Well, undercover. He's not undercover. It's a silly movie, but it's hilarious, and it still holds up. I still you at some of the jokes. You're like, I shouldn't be laughing at this, but you laugh at it, and it's just a good. It's well done. They did a good job with that. But he's like trying to, I think, see which players got armed or whatever. And Cal Raleigh's up to the plate here. Nobody out. Top of the fourth inning. Ohtani with the pitch. Cal first pitch swinging into the gap. It's going to take a long way to get there, but he's got it on the line for one out. Again, Cal Raleigh, young bucks are swinging. Young bucks do not want to wait. They go, these pitchers are hard. They're not going to give me a lot of good pitches. I got to swing where it's there. But Leslie at one point, he's knocked out the main umpire behind the plate umpire, and he's come out in the umpire's gear, and he's trying to see which guy's armed, a gun or whatever, and he's behind the plate. He's got to call a strike. He first calls a strike, and the fans start cheering on every strike that he calls. And so he progressively gets more animated and gestates more in every strike call that he makes. And he's calling balls 5 inches out the zone strike. And then by the end, he's doing splits, and he's going off. 1-0 count here to Ham. Swaggerty drips so hard. Sam able to leg it out in the first inning to stay out of a double play. Swing and a miss there. 1-1 now. Ohtani at 64 pitches. It's another reason again you want like to see Cal try to take a couple pitches there, buddy. We're getting this guy deep here. Let's stay with the program. Here's the program, Cal. Knocked foul at the plate. 1-2. Megan says, I always laugh at The Naked Gun, one of my favorite dumb movies of all time. It is. It is really, I mean, it's, you know, it ain't highbrow humor, but it's well done for what it is. And Leslie Nielsen was awesome. And Ham Haggerty swinging there, just that looked like a cutter there. And he just couldn't get with it. So strikeout. 2 down now here for Ohtani, who got himself a bug in his eye. He blinks it out because that's what legends do. But it's a great movie. I can, if that's on, that's a remote dropper there. If it's on TV, I'll watch it. Put it down, watch it. Jake Lamb up the plate now. Ball. Lamb 0 for 1 in this game. Hammy. Outside, ball 2. Ethan McKinley Ratter, of all the lineups we've had since the All-Star break, how is this the one that's getting hits? Well, I don't know. I don't have a good answer for you on that. I mean, the guys that have, if you look at the guys who've gotten the hits in this game, all the hits have come from basically the guys that are your level stroke hitters, right? Anybody with any kind of upper stroke swing in this game, Rodriguez, Raleigh. I don't know enough about Lamb at this point. Haggerty's got a pretty level swing. Outside now. Nice job here by Jake to get this to 3-1, and Ohtani now creeps up to 85 pitches for the game. But, you know, basically your contact hitters not trying to do too much against the power pitcher. And you have a power pitcher, that's what you got to do. I'm going to just work to get the bat on the ball here a little bit. Jake Lamb puts a ride on this one, and it's off the wall in center field. Lamb going to creep on up for a double. Boy, that looked like just, it's always hard in the center field shots. That just looked like a typical center field flyout. And Ohtani just left it up where he could do something with it. Boy, another 3 inches, and that's a home run. Ball is carrying very well tonight out in center field, outfield. You notice that on these fly balls. Like even Cal Raleigh hit an oppo shot that was just, you know, it had that still like carry thing going on to it where it just was going to keep on going. Oh, they said 85 pitches for Ohtani. I guess I was wrong on that. It's only 71. My bad. They changed the stat on me here. Julio up now. Fire in his eyes, anger in his heart, fury on his mind. Why? Because he's been robbed of 2 home runs here in the last couple of nights. On his last at bat, sent a fly ball deep in right field. The chat is telling me 100% it was a home run. 100% New York got it wrong. And the umpires on the field got it right. Julio strokes this ball into center field on the line, but he is under it. Very quick center fielder out there. Makes a very easy play of it. Julio put a good hard hit to it, but couldn't find a gap. Rob Terrell, Airplane is also another one right there with it. I think it's the same guys, right? Isn't the same makers? The Zucker. It's the Zucker brothers or Zucker something. That goes deep into my memory banks on that one. Megan says it's my dad's favorite as well, which is why I probably still love it. Yeah, my dad liked that one too. I remember watching both those movies with my dad. And Ethan, when it comes to these lineups, man, I think right now at this point, Scott's probably just rolling dice, throwing the names into a hat, shaking the hat, overturning the hat, and laying there, whatever that is. Because he's tried every iteration that you could think of. He's batted guys all over the place and just can't find the consistent spot quite yet. And if this team does find it at some point in time this year, and we are, again, August 15th, we've got 2 more weeks of baseball this month. We got a whole nother month of baseball next month. If they can find these, get 5 guys going at once in a lineup, right? Rather than just 2 guys. They can get in the spot, look out. Because we've seen with the starting and the pitching and the way it can hold it down. With the bullpen, the way it can hold it down. The defense, the way it can hold it down. That's when we become dangerous. Rob Terrell says one of my favorite comedy right now is The Other Guys. I liked it as well. I didn't love it as much as a lot of people are. A lot of guys I've heard from that really, really, like you're saying, really loved it. And I feel like I got to give it another watch to appreciate it. I also have a built-in, look, there's just few actors, actresses out there that just are in that zone for me of I can't take them seriously. Like they speak and they talk and they act, and I go, I don't believe anything this person is doing. And I know that a lot of people like this guy. A lot of people might say he's their favorite actor, damn near. I can't take Gosling. I can't handle it with him. Everything comes out in that monotone. Why don't you tell me what you want me to do? I don't do the thing you want me to do. And I can't do it. I check out on that. So he loses me every time, unfortunately. 1-1 pitch here by Castillo is a slider inside. 1-2 on Taylor Ward. Work his way here through the middle of the order. Will Castillo, 50 pitches here as he gets into the top of the 4th. Down and away on a fastball. No, I'm thinking of the other guys. Oh yeah, I'm thinking of the nice guys. You're right. My bad. That ball's hit hard down the line. This is going to be trouble. And that's going to be a stand-up double. Boy, Castillo's gotten himself into trouble here early a couple times and does so again here in this inning. He's been able to wiggle his way off the hook when the fisherman wasn't looking. But he's, again, going to put his biggest challenge here up so far with nobody out. And now a runner on second. Let me see the other guys. Oh, okay, that's the Will Ferrell one. That's a good one. I like that. I like that one too. That one makes me laugh too. It's a little bit like the nice guys for me, where it's like other people loved it. Like it has a huge cult following, and I liked it. But like it ain't on the level for me. If you're looking at like Will Ferrell movies and those kind of it ain't on the level for me of like the other guys or Step Brothers. So like, it's not quite at that point for me. It's got its spots, but it's like a little step below there for me on that one. Still good though. Jared Walsh up now. He had a walk, sitting 0-1 here to Luis Castillo. Ward on second base. Swing and foul back. Three says, like the NFL has 4K cameras in the pylons, which can see if the ball goes across the blade of grass. Yeah, it's like, you know what, 283 for me, it's like, use a freaking laser beam. If you're going to put sharks out there, put sharks with freaking laser beams on their head. But I want a laser beam because nobody needs to cost my future Hall of Fame superstar home runs. Or they will be put in the barrel of boiling water. That ball is hit on the ground to the right side. Throw at the plate's going to be broken up here as there's no chance. It's a bad throw. Can't be picked. Poorly picked. And the runner will get to second base now. 2-2. Sloppily played there. And very casual on the pick there. Did a little backhanded pick on the relay throw, cutting it off. And he was kind of casual about it, and then that's what allowed it to kind of bounce up and bounce away from him, which then let the runner. I mean, that's the part where the base hit doesn't kill you there, but then allowing now a runner onto second base with nobody outs on a play that didn't have to happen. And Ty tries to pick this oddly rather than just get in front of this ball, because if he gets in front of it and just takes it into his chest there, the runner's going to remain. But he gets cute with it trying to pick it, and that's what allows then the ball to bounce further away from him. Steven Degar up now, 0-1 count. Lefty's going to try to roll this ball over and get a runner over to third, as now the game is tied. Megan says, I can't deal with Gosling, although I do like him as Neil Armstrong and first man. Yeah, and again, acknowledging, I know I'm a little on an island here. I'm floating a little on my own little ice shelf on this particular opinion. And most actors, I don't have like a long list of guys like I can't do it. But there are certain guys who just, for whatever reason, and there was even a role he did that I was okay with, like was The Big Short, where he's playing the greasy, banking guy, basically. I thought that's the one part of his that I've actually really liked of him with it. But most of the rest of the stuff just comes off as kind of just a little too smug for me. The smugness of just, you want to give him the old just, what's wrong with you? Why are you looking like that? Rob Terrell, this is Will Ferrell and Marky Mark. That's right, Will Ferrell and Marky Mark. It's a good movie. I do like it. So it makes me laugh. The scene where The Rock and Samuel Jackson are they're like acting like superheroes, and the way the movie's treating them, like through the whole movie, they're doing all these crazy stunts and stuff up until the point, and then the bank robbers jump off the building or take a zip line across, and they're like going to jump across to the next skyscraper, I think, or something, the next building's roof, and from the roof that they're above. And it's like said, like, you got this, I got this, and they like pound it out, and then they jump, and then they both just splat on the ground. That was, I lose it every time. And Castillo got a very key strikeout there. Nice job by Castillo there to get it to 1 out now. Limit a little bit of this damage in the fourth inning. Megan says Gosling ruined Blade Runner for me. Yeah, definitely was a weak part of that film for me. Some of it was also the direction of the film, just the amount of the director falling in love with all of his set pieces, and then having his actors, whatever, slow walking through the set pieces so that people could better capture the feeling of the scenery. It was a little heavy-handed to me. And I liked Dennis Villeneuve. Max Stassi to the point now. Oh, they got a run down at second base. And it's a good rundown. Back and forth. We got a few tosses back, and Crawford comes back with his fleet of foot ability and gets out number 2. Great wherewithal by Luis Castillo on the ball, hit back up the middle. Turned back and eyeballed that runner at second and said, "You went too damn far." Ran right at him, got him into the pickle. And Mariners got out number 2 here. Runner on first base. Let's go. Oh, freaking you porn people. Will it never end? Will it never end? We do not want you here. Be gone. Be gone with your porn. You are not wanted. This ball's batted up into the air straight to Julio in dead center. Out number 3. Damage limited. Score tied. Mariners, middle of the order. Next inning. Y2K, I like Gosling and Only God Forgives. Kind of weird one, though. I tried it on that one, Y2K. And again, I got to give Ryan credit because he's an actor who chooses good directors that are interesting directors that do very, I don't know what the word avant-garde means, but he works with very avant-garde directors, I feel like. That word applies to those guys. So he does a good job in where he picks, but that movie was just, that movie I couldn't do. There's another movie about, so many of it, it's the same guy that made that movie, made the movie Drive, which was, again, Drive was a movie about, I'm gonna plant the camera in the passenger seat, point it on Gosling for 45 minutes of this movie and play Techno's 80 music over the top of him at varying times in a day. Let's have him in the morning and have him smirking, looking off. Gosling at night. Gosling midday before a tense moment. Gosling about to fight somebody. That's I go, this was the best you could do? No more Disney kids. Big Country says Service is not a happy camper. I bet. I would be losing. Honestly, he should have been more. We've asked for him to get a little bit more angry at times. Quite frankly, I would have gotten myself kicked at that point in the game. If my people are telling me in the dugout, I'll come out there in this inning and tell them what's up. And I won't care. I won't care. Because I would want to make more of a spectacle of it, right? Like what you do as a manager at that point, why do you do that? Is just to show your team that you can scream it. No, it's to back your player up. Because now what will happen is if you go out there and get kicked, now when the sports TV shows that show you getting kicked, they're not only going to reference showing you getting heated and spitting in the face of the umpire, they're going to go back to Julio's home run, show it was fair, and it will cast a brighter light on the moment. But that's a moment where I don't care if you're a nice guy manager, that's what you need to go do. That's the proper backing up of your player. If he knows that to be the case. Maybe he's just unsure in the dugout, but if you guys are telling me this, he's got the same kind of information available to him. I'd come out there right in the middle of an inning if I had to. I'd just catch him off guard. They're like, you're talking about this now? Yeah, I'm talking about this now. I didn't have confirmation of this until right now. What's wrong with you guys? It wasn't us. It was New York. It was us. I wouldn't care. Still get tossed. Got to back your player up. Ty France 0-1 here. On a called strike. Second pitch hits it up into the air. Can of corn there for the shortstop. And he catches it. Stephen Cottrell stops swinging after 2 pitches. Get Ohtani out of the game. And Stephen, you're absolutely right. Like I said, you got guys in this lineup taking pitches, but then half the other lineup going, yeah, we're not interested in that. We're scared to strike out on Ohtani, so we want to really make sure we're swinging here early because he's nasty, and we just don't want to get behind on it and have some silly swing that they're going to show on Sports Center or whatever where we just look dumb. So at least I'm getting a good swing on this. I don't know why. It sometimes befuddles my mind. Ooh, Ohtani got a borderline pitch there for a strike. The pitch tracker shows it as a strike. It looked a little bit outside, but catcher did a damn good job framing that thing. He framed that better than our founders. Oh! Strike 2. Strike 2. Winker with a home run early on this game. Also with a little strange pop base hit to the left field side in his last at bat. Low. Ball one. Y2K says, I just made my girlfriend watch Spaceballs. So funny. It's a great movie. It's got a lot of scenes in it. That's awesome. When did this happen? Then. When? Now. That happened then. Yes. Right now. No, that happened then. There's a funny meme from that movie I saw recently on it's probably like Reddit. In the it shows this guy, and he's sitting behind a table, and got Winker to go on 100-mile-an-hour fastball at the top of the zone. How about Ohtani ringing it up to 100 miles an hour? And Winker gives him a little bit of the. I mean, at this point, service, your players are telling you, like, go do some barking, brother. I want to see some barking here. Wink didn't think he went. He got some juice on that. And again, service just sitting calmly holding his arms. Don't like that look from my manager there. I'm not asking him to be something he isn't there, but come on. At least give me a little barking. At least give me a I'm headed off to bed, says Steven. I'm not interested in the aneurysms that's forming in my brain. No worries, man. You have a good night, brother. Appreciate you jumping in. Mitch up the plate, takes inside, 1-1. I see you. I see you. Umpire giving him the I see you. I see you. Strike. Just off the plate by about an inch or two, but he gets the call there. Rob, I miss Felix in his prime too. Strike three. Mitch was looking fastball there, and he just hit him with a breaking ball. Yeah. Come on the count. Nice job by Ohtani locking back in here after kind of struggling early. He's got his pitch count back under control. Somewhat. Mariners still have him work pretty well here. But anyway, there's this funny thing I was watching Reddit where this guy's sitting and he's got a thing of sand in front of him, like in a little aquarium of sand, like a mini aquarium, and he's got an afro pick, and he's picking through the sand, and he's just kind of combing through it. He's like 25 years on Broadway, 5 Broadway shows, 40 appearances in movie and film. Reads off this just litany of a great career in acting. And he says, all I'm known for is we ain't found S. And it's the guy from the Desert, of course, in Spaceballs that's combing through. And if you get a chance to go watch the clip, it's kind of funny. It's just so true, right? The guy probably, whenever he's ever been referenced in life, has all this pedigree and background, but he only gets referenced for that one scene in Spaceballs. But it's a classic line, so what are you going to do? How nice would it be, Rob, to have Felix and Randy in this starting rotation right now? Prime Randy, prime Felix. Ethan Techworld says Gosling was a perfect fit with the tone of Blade Runner 2049. I mean, he is robotic. And again, he didn't do anything differently in that movie that he doesn't normally do that annoys me. And it's probably more to his character type in playing a literal robot, that his lack of ability to emote or show any kind of real true emotion on his face, it was okay. But for me, it was the direction. It was the slow walk stuff. That movie was, 3 hours long, and you spent 55 minutes of that movie watching people walk slowly. Walk like the director had told him I want you to go on your walks to be thinking 50% and look around like you're listening. You're listening for the wind to tell you something. Castillo up now with 4 innings worked here, 2 earned runs, 5 Ks, 1 walk. A little bit of shades of Logan Gilbert's performance the other day where when he's on and he's hitting his spots, he's nigh unhittable. But in those few rare moments in the game where he does get outside of that zone and gets back into the center of the plate, that's where he gets himself into some trouble, where now the Angels are making him pay. So we'll see if he can stay to the outer edges here a little bit better now. Swing and a miss. 1-2 here to Andrew Velasquez. Megan says avant-garde means out of the ordinary. Okay, so it did apply. It did work. I don't know any French, Megan, and that's a strike 3 there on a nice fastball at the top of the zone. I don't know any French, but there's like about 5 French phrases that I absolutely just love to say because they're just fun to say. Just roll off the tongue. Je ne sais quoi. Y2KH says, I missed this Julio home run part. Julio hit an oppo bomb. He tucked it, it would seem, right inside the foul pole, according to what I'm hearing from the chat. They went to look at it in replay. Ball inside. They went to look at it in replay, and it was determined post-replay that it was a foul. So New York overruled the call in the field, and people are saying that after they went back and rewound it a couple times and really looked at it, it did indeed look like a home run. Strike at the knees, 1-1. Ethan, have you seen Nightcrawler with Jake Gyllenhaal? So good. Steady hands. Great performance by Gyllenhaal. Yeah. Fantastic. And a great film. Really great film. Well, really well done. It's hard to do that kind of movie that's about seedy people because it can be a little bit not like, well, you're watching a train, but it can also be like painful because you're watching just... I usually especially don't like movies where you're centered on having to follow a main character who's nothing but an a-hole the whole time. And somehow maybe they either do or don't find the light at the end of the movie, but you've been asked to take this ride with this guy that or woman that's completely nothing to root for in them. Whew, that ball smoked down the line. 1-2 there. He got out in front of that one. Is that a change he sent there? Yeah, that was a change-up. That's why he got out in front. Ethan said I almost freaked out when Luis threw that high. Yeah, I'm getting worried too because it's the last couple of nights these hitters have been on it when the pitchers have been missing. Not like Gilbert or either Luis are giving him a ton of pitches to hit. They're just doing the most with it. And Shohei Ohtani looming on deck. Luis Castillo into the wind. Inside. We'll draw this count to 3-2. Boy, you'd sure like to get Ohtani on here with 2 outs. Get him up to the plate, 2 outs and nobody on. Fletcher's been he's been pesky this game. Oh. Fletcher swings and turns awkwardly around. I don't even know what happened. He swung awkwardly at it, spun back around, twisted up his knee, it looks like. And he is really limping on it. It looks like you might have to come off. Off the instep of his foot. Maybe that's what's making him limp as he just hit it right off the top. Much like Ohtani, we saw no... I mean, if they're going to allow you to wear the armor, I'm wearing the armor. There's no way I'm going out there like I'm just so tough because he took that right off the foot. It looks like, thought it was his knee at first, the way he's got some dirt on his knee. It looked like he just landed all force on his knee on top. What an awkward looking play. And he's definitely still ginger. David Marcel says maybe the foul poles should be black. Shaking my head. Might help, huh? Yellow seems to be tough to be distinguishable between white. Daniel W. Haven't heard the walk-in a long time. I'll tell you, Daniel W., you watch this home run, Julio Rodriguez hits it far, other side of the field, goes deep around the foul pole. They call it the pesky pole. Do you know why they call it that? The man named Pesky had some cowbells, but that's not the point. He used to hit around the pole on the other side back in Boston. 52. Long time ago it happened. Then he would do it. Julio did the same today. Now in this game, they call a foul. Umpire got his head up his ass. Freaking idiot. They're trying to keep this kid from not winning the Rookie of the Year. What's wrong with them on this? I don't know. You tell me. It's not very good right now. I don't know why. I'm trying here, Daniel. I'm trying to find him a little bit. My deals have been a little off lately. I'm trying to get him going. That's a base hit up the middle there on a 3-2 pitch. Hit it hard. Why did Luis give him that pitch there? Didn't have to. No, Shohei Ohtani is up at the plate. Cowbell rally. Opposite way. Shohei up here now. He's done a good job of pitching to him. Has Castillo up until this point. Strike. I believe Ohtani's had a couple opportunities here in this game up at the plate with runners on. Dangerous place to be as you look through this lineup. This is the guy that is really where you're kind of most worried about going in now with no Mike Trout in the lineup. 0-1 here to Ohtani. Swing and hit up in the air. Fly ball. Looked a little dangerous off the bat, but just lazily drops down the left fielder out there. He didn't get quite as much oomph behind that swing. And that will be 2 down. Castillo dodging a bit of a bullet there. Y2K says, was a pull shot that originally called fair, but on review was ruled foul, but when looking at it, disappeared on the left side of the right field pole. Yeah, if it disappears, that means it's in. I mean, shouldn't disappear. There should be no disappearance. It should stay. Not disappeared. It's got to be foul. Then it's foul. Call it right. Now, you idiots in New York. Ball 1 here to Luis Renifa. Either than McKinley Ratter says it's service. What do you expect? I was trying to catch myself on that a little bit, going, who am I talking about? And Service is I think he's got good things he brings as a manager, but, the occasional fire is needed in a long season, and it can definitely serve a purpose. I'm not asking him to get tossed, but just give me a couple barks from the dugout, right? Give me a couple of those, goes the thing, and then you get a lot of, SOB, what the hell is that? And then you see Blue going, keep it up. And then he goes right up the line, and then he backs it off, and you're like, okay, well, I feel at least he did that. I'm not asking him to go face-to-face, full Lou style, throwing first bases and kicking dirt. But a couple barks ain't gonna hurt nothing, right? 1-1 here to Luis. 2 men out. Bounced on the ground. Frazier's got this easy. Over in the shift. And that will end the 5th inning. So another, as we've said on every chance he's had up at the Hill so far for Luis Castillo, another very well-pitched inning on his part. Well-pitched game here so far. 5 innings, only 2 earned runs. This is exactly the pitcher's duel that we probably thought that we were going to get when it all shook out. Rob says they're lucky Lou isn't managing this team because they wouldn't have any bases left. Big facts. Megan, I watched Blade Runner 2049 with migraine at the cinema. Only one in the cinema and had to go to the bathroom. I knew the owner of the cinema and she paused the movie until I came back. Well, I know a little. My godson is fluent in over 300 languages, can hear one and within an hour is fluent. He's a savant for languages. Wow, that's good. I'm not a savant. I'm the opposite of the savant, where I could have lived in the country for 10 years And my only communication by way of learning their language, and I would still probably just be like having yes or no after 10 years. Little beyond that. But that'd be tough watching 2049 with a migraine, because you got the migraine going, okay, just be over. Just be over with. It's another scene of him walking. It's another scene of him walking, looking at the landscape. It's another long scene of him walking, looking at the landscape that's going slow. What in the hell? Daniel says Watkins getting strong. It's coming around. Takes a while. Sometimes. Not a robot. Dancing monkey. Just going to find my way. I got to look to locate it. But I'll tell you, Daniel W., I don't know what's up with these umps. They call one more home run, not for Julio. I'm going to have to go walking New York style. That ain't a cowbell. It's quite something else. Make me go King of New York. Ethan Tech World, Fletcher looks like he just tore his ACL. That's what it looked like, didn't it? He comes up from his knee and he's doing like the torn ACL walk a guy does, but then you see that it was on that instep, and he didn't even have the high tops he's rocking. He's going low tops, so that ball just went right, almost bare, except for maybe a sock, bare skin. Brutal call there by the ump on Crawford for 0-1. That curveball hooked through the zone, and to my eyes looked a little bit inside there on the pitch tracker, but borderline. Blue gave it to him. This ball's hit up the middle. Slow bouncer. Crawford trying to leg out. Can't quite get it done. Just hit a little bit too softly. Out number 1. Ohtani with 7 strikeouts in this game. Shown on the pitch tracker, he's done a variety of ways. 3 by the splitter, 2 by fastball, 2 by slider. So he's closing guys out in a variety of different ways, which makes it tough when you got a power pitcher that's really assorting his pitches, mixing them up. This ball hit on the ground, and that will get through. Nice piece of hitting there by Frazier. Shortstop moved out of his natural shortstop position there. He gets a pitch away, goes with it with that line drive stroke. You got a guy throwing 99. You got a bat where you're not trying to do too much, and that guy, even though he's throwing 99, misses right up in the middle part of the zone. If you're again not trying to do too much with the pitch, and that was purposeful there. Nice piece of hitting by Frazier, because he's trying to hit that to that open area where he did. This will bring up Cal Raleigh, who has had not the best of at-bats tonight against Shohei Ohtani. 1 man left on base by Cal here in this game. He's been very, very, very jumpy up the plate here. Takes a first pitch curveball at the top of the zone for strike number 1. Big Country says, without the brawl, we probably aren't holding a wild card at the moment. I agree. I think the wild card sped up. That's the word I can look for here. I'm trying to think of what's the word. The ball's hit up into the air, skied high, foul. First base side. I think it just brought the team the camaraderie, I guess. I think it kind of jump-started the camaraderie of the team in a way that you wouldn't have had without, which then helped them kind of lock into that mindset that you have to get to, where everybody's in that kind of, you can't overthink and think about it too much, but when you're in it and you're feeling it and you're rolling like they were in that 14-game hitting streak, that's what it's like a little bit. You don't get there in those kind of streaks by just happenstance. More often than not, it's because teams really are coming together. And yeah, that's the lightning rod of the season so far. Oh, what a piss poor call by the umpire. Looked like maybe it was a cutter on the outside. Doesn't matter the pitch. It was 4 inches off the plate. Nowhere near. It wound. I mean, the pitch itself winds around completely the plate. Oh, what an awful call there by Blue. That was awful. That's the worst call of the game on a big pitch there. Megan says, you missed my question. Am I missing here? What is the point of trading a player as the Hawks did today only to cut him later? Isn't that a waste of money? No. You are allowed in training camp, Megan, to have more than 53 men on the roster. So until you've got stages of cuts in training camp where the roster becomes pared down to eventually get to 53 man. But you're not at the 53-man roster right now. And the salary cap only counts on the top 53 men on your roster. It doesn't count on any of the back-end guys. And his contract is not guaranteed. So what you'll see happen with him is probably he lasts to the second or the third round of cuts. They'll get a look at him, see where he is, make an assessment. Maybe he gets one preseason game to try to do something, and they'll see where he's at. But otherwise, he's most likely to be cut. Maybe they're looking at trying to see if they can bring him back here on a more of a practice squad situation. But no, you don't. It doesn't cost you any money to do this type of deal. Strike here on Haggerty. Haggerty 0 for 2 in this game. Ohtani started him off with a curveball. No doubt, Hags was not looking for that. 0-1. Top of the 6th inning, Mariners tied 2-2 against the Angels. That ball's hit down the line. Oh, just foul. So, just was almost to clip it down there, but just landed about 3 or 4 feet left inside the foul line down in the outfield. And Megan, I'm thinking you're meaning about Ortega-Whiteside. Why would we cut him after trading him? And remember, Megan, with this, you were planning on cutting Ugo anyway. So, it becomes a move like we're going to cut Ugo for nothing. We're going to cut him anyway. That's our plan. If we can get something for Ugo to have even an opportunity to have a first look at a player, first club control look at a player who maybe our scouting evaluations, and that's a wild pitch there. And Frazier will move up to second base and get into scoring position here. 1-2 count. Ohtani almost has the catcher throw it in his face, has to duck out of the way. So you have a situation, you're going to let this one guy go. You may have liked your player evaluation on Jordan Ortega-Whiteside back when he was coming out of college a couple of years ago. And maybe Schneider's sitting there in his front office and draft people are sitting there going, man, why hasn't he been a better player for the Eagles there? Maybe there's something we can do with him that they haven't done. Or maybe we just get a look at him and see if he is what we thought on our evaluations. And it doesn't mean you're married to him, but just he does give you that first opportunity. And again, Ugo's going to go anyway. So it always is. Everything that you're getting back is a plus, even if it's for 8 days of Ortega-Whiteside. Inside, ball 2, nice eye there. Wasn't really close, but good eye by Haggerty. Haggerty hitting .357 with runners in scoring position this year. Drip so hard. The ham man digs in. Rocking on those feet. Bat twirling. Ohtani comes set. Swing fouled off his instep there, but Haggerty is a smart man and has his armor up on his legs, so he walks it off like it ain't no thing but a chicken wing on a string. Megan, I still don't get it, but okay, I guess. All right, Megan, let's walk through this. Let's go from the start. You're going to cut Ugo Amadi. He's not good enough to make your team. We got a 2-2 count. I'll tell you what, we'll do it at the commercial break here. 2-2 count, knock foul. Good job by Haggerty to stay alive. That was a borderline pitch on the inside part of the plate. With Frazier on second, you got some good speed out there. A base hit would be all but certain to score him here with 2 outs. 2-2 game. This does have the makings of one extra run could be enough here in this one. Ohtani comes set. 96 pitches into the game. Hit high and deep, but this will not have enough carry to it. Right fielder catches it with ease after tracking it down, and that will end the 6th. So we are up to now 9 runners left on base by your Seattle Mariners in this game. The problem still does continue. So, Megan, you're going to let's start here with Ugo. Ugo is going to be released. You do not want Ugo Amadi. He's not a valuable member of your team. You do not want to pay $2.5 million. Eagles call you. They say, we heard you put in the press that you're going to release Ugo Amadi. Yes, that's true. We're going to release Ugo Amadi. We're going to do the same thing with Jordan Masega-Whiteside. I remember when we had a combine talk about you saying you actually liked him coming out and couldn't understand why he did better for us. Do you want to maybe swap problem childs here? And you let us have our first chance at Ugo and Megan, because if they release Ugo, then 32 NFL teams could knock on Ugo's door, and it doesn't guarantee the Eagles will get Ugo Amadi. But maybe the Eagles have a high side or a high outlook on Ugo Amadi and think he could be a good player for them. Maybe they have a need at the slot. Whatever the reasons are, they like him. So they say, let's move both of these two moves. Seattle goes, yeah, that's fine with us because we're planning on releasing him anyway. So we're now trading a guy that we planned on releasing. You bring him in. You have right now, I think, Megan, they have like 96 guys are on the roster right now. 96 guys. When they go out to practice every day, it's something like 96 guys are on their field, because you don't have to pare down your roster to 53 people until you get to the final week of training camp. So you have different stages of this. It doesn't all have to go down into one spot. You have different stages of this. So you're bringing him right now while you still can have 96 camp bodies to take a look at him and figure out what he is and where he is and if he fits and if you like him. And if you maybe want to offer him a role on, if he can't make the active roster, then you're trying to maybe just dump him in on the practice squad. But I hope that maybe explains it from stem to stern a little bit better on that. But that's how that works. Danny W. says, should the Mariners have traded Felix like Luis Castillo got traded and gotten a haul of young prospects? Would have been kind of nice to have another Julio potentially right now. Yes. Yeah. I think it's really, even more so, quite frankly, Daniel, than football. Baseball makes this as easy as any sport out there to take this kind of approach with things, because it's not a sport of shortcuts. It's not a sport like basketball. If I can get a couple of superstars paired together and bring into my city, then that's all I need to try to seek out to do. I know that that's not all teams. I know there's teams that have different ways, but that's like an approach, right? And in football, with the salary cap and the nature of the sport and the shortness of players' careers, that's another one where you can get caught into maybe thinking you're a little closer than you truly are. Baseball, there's no excuses. And at the time when you had Julio here, you didn't have a good complete team. You weren't ready to roll. You probably could have gotten a massive haul for him. And it's the thing I will. And I haven't heard anybody by anyone. I've mentioned this point a couple of times. I haven't seen any of you guys counter this necessarily in the chat in disagreement. And that is that when you look at the last 20 years of baseball, when you look at the time when Pat Gillick left, when that 2001 run was done, and then onward, and every general manager that came in, outside of DePoto on this, and even DePoto when he first came in was kind of still in this mode when he first walked in. 3-2 count here for Castillo on the opening batter of the inning, Taylor Ward, as he will face the middle of the order. Castillo's had a little bit of an issue tonight with the opening batter of the inning. He's been able to wade through troubled waters with some great gutsy clutch pitching at the right time, but that has definitely been a little bit of the trouble spot for him tonight. And remains so here as he just beans Ward on the back. Yikes. Castillo shaking his head. So knowing that, Daniel, I always come back to if you're a team that either needs to be rebuilding, on its ascent, you're stuck in between, or you're truly an elite team competing with the best of the best. And there really is kind of those four phases for me when you look at the almost teams in almost any sport. And you could have a team that I might say is middle of the road and their record ends up where they might be at 3 wins, but it's just because they had a couple extra injuries that year. Their roster, for all intents and purposes and how it was built, could not have hoped to push past more than really, let's say, 8 or 9 wins on a given season. And I think that Mariner team was in that place where you knew they weren't going to do that if you're going to sign these contracts, try to keep 1 or 2 superstars just to be good enough to not be completely horrific. And even then you were at times where you were horrific. So, I would have looked to try to do what finally DePoto did, which is we gotta pull the car over to the side of the road, stop with this forward momentum and just everything being about us going forward here and the next thing. Let's stop and actually put a projectable plan forward. Let's stop reacting every year to things. Let's start looking through this on more of a long-term lens. Let's reinvest back in the scouting situation here. Let's make the farm system one of the best in baseball. And let's start operating from that mode. And once you make that decision, that's what that would entail. Mariners, by the time they started to make that decision, didn't have a Felix trade to make. Maybe outside of, I guess, Edwin, right? Edwin Diaz, maybe you could qualify that as that. And Castillo able to finally fight in the strike zone after the last walk there. Murphy getting ready in the pen here in the top of the 6th. Nobody out. One man on first. Castillo comes set. Swing. You're going to miss. Nice pitch. Top of the zone. So I don't like watching general managers trying to take shortcuts to get to places. I like aggressive moves when you've got the team and the situations in the right spot. I like aggressive moves when it's about a rebuilding. Like that would have been an aggressive move. Going to the fan base and saying, look, we're going aggressive. We're going to let go one of the stars you guys love here, one of our only stars. And you're not going to like this, and we're going to lose a little attendance for this, but we're going to be better off for it in the long term. And we got to start making more long-term moves. We've been making too many short-term moves. Too many moves that have us looking at our roster like we're still in 2001 rather than where we would really truly be. Castillo comes set now on the 2-2 pitch here to Jared Walsh. Swung, hit foul. It shall remain. 23 says, so you and your neighbor have a box of junk. You decide to swap the boxes because there might be something you like in there, but if not, you can throw it away. There you go. That was a much better way of putting it even than I could have made. Megan says, but isn't that $2 million we can put towards a new quarterback? No. I mean, the thing, I think we got to talk about this and what the likely scenario is here. It's like 283 just said. The likely scenario here is that you're moving off from Ortega-Whiteside. So the $2.5 million, it's $2.5 million, which is what Ugo Amadi's salary was, Megan. You're essentially swapping that with what you have in Ortega-Whiteside. But again, only the top 53, only the guys making the top 53 of the money count on the roster right now. And we haven't gotten a regular season. So it's until they make the roster, just think of it like this. Until we get to the opening day, the money really doesn't count. It doesn't count in the way you're thinking of. It's not, and remember, it's not guaranteed as well. 3-2 pitch. Woo, we got a good swing on that. Line foul. So if the likelihood is you're going to release him, you're going to still end up getting out from under that $2.5 million. But it doesn't truly count until you get down to the final cut down points. That's where you really have to worry about it at that spot. And I think because a big part of the impetus of this move was moving Ugo because of his lack of stellar play at the position, but really mainly because of his cost. I think Schneider, to your point on this, Megan, the intention here is to save the $2.5 million. Payoff pitch is a fastball at the knees, and he gets him. Big strikeout there for Castillo as he now starts to head through the bottom of this lineup. Brilliant pitch there. A little bit of a danger zone for lefty baddies, but it did not look like Walsh was looking for the pitch there. And it's coming at 97, so you got to get that bat up fast to catch up to it. Yeah, I think he's right. I think 283 is right as well. I don't think they're really worried about the 2.5, Megan, because the other thing we got to consider here is the fact that we have cap space right now. We're sitting on cap space. We're in a good situation. You know, we're not in a place of having to worry about 2.5 million. I think they're going to eventually intend to save it because Snyder's just was like, I think he looks at it like, I might as well save it for somebody else or something else down the road, be it maybe even a trade deadline acquisition. And I don't know. That's just where I'm leaning. That's my guess on it. Daniel W says, yeah, but then we take on some of J.J. Ortega's salary, so it cancels out. Well, that's if he makes if he makes the opening squad roster. I would put this guy's chances of making this roster, unless he comes in and balls, he's like at 5%. I think this is completely the whole trash metaphor that was made in the chat. That's perfect. I got a magical box that's full really of a lot of crap, but it may have a piece of crap in it that you like. You got a box that has a lot of crap in it, but it has a piece of crap I like. We can throw those boxes at any time in the trash for no loss. We're not on the hook for any of the money at that point. But at the end of the day, what's in the box is trash. Steven Degar is 0 for 2 in this game, and he's going to have nightmares of Luis Castillo for years to come after this game. And the Castillo hits him with a gnarly 89-mile-an-hour slider on the outside corner, which looked like a strike. Getting a little bit tight now with his zone. He was getting loosey-goosey on one end. Now he just magically tightens it on up here. Stay consistent, Blue. Castillo up to 102 pitches. One man out, one runner on first. Castillo comes set. Steven Degar locks in, swing, strike 3. Indeed, Mr. Degar has looked heavily overmatched in this game against Castillo. He has been flailing away at every turn here, not even close to hitting with some hard contact. And that will put 2 men down. Put them down. Sam the Great says, after this game, I got to show my opinions of the JJ trade the Hawks did, shaking my head. Yeah, it's a trade that's, and I'm sure we'll cover it here in a couple of days when me and Brendan hook up on Wednesday. But it's a trade that you looked at Ugo's play last year. You look at the money he's making. You look at what you already have on the roster that's at the very least equivalent to what he is and cheaper. Then it's really is at the end of the day about this is a spot on the roster where we can save some money that is not worthwhile for us to spend this money. $2.5 million is fairly significant. You're going to need to give me like probably league average play at that point as a young player moving in the point of the contract year that he's in at that point to justify that. And I don't think either of the two guys in this deal are going to justify that. I think best case scenario for Ortega-Whiteside at this point is that he agrees to stay on the practice squad. And after getting Max Stassi to an 0-2 count, Castillo throws one way off the plate for 1-2. Come on here, Luis. Let's close this down. Megan says, this is just doing my head in, so just forget it. No worries, Megan. I get it. It's going to get a little complicated, so it's all good. 1-2 pitch now. Batted foul. Staying alive. Staying alive. Megan says we won't have cap space if we do stuff like this, just to get rid of the player later. If he's at 5%, why bother with him? It's like him. I don't know how many metaphors we can give you on this, Megan. I think the trash metaphor is the best one. Just understanding it's probably trash, but again, it's if you're making a trade and there's no downside on the trade. Keep this in mind on all of this. This is the biggest key I think you're not understanding with this. There's no downside to making this trade. There's no downside. You're not out of money. You're not out of draft picks. You're not out of future money. There is literally no downside. 0 zip, 0 nothing, nada. The money's not counting on your books. He will be released, Megan. He's not going to make the roster. You're bringing him in here to potentially think of it like this, Megan. You're bringing him in to try to give him the full tour of look. We don't think you're ready, and that's a strikeout by Castillo, strike 3. You bring him in here, you're going to give him the full tour. You're going to try to wine and dine and be like, okay, look, we like you, man. You don't know our offense. You're here late into training camp. Why don't you let us put you on the practice squad? You're better than a couple of the other practice squad receivers we're looking at, but we're not going to let you on the roster. Let's look at it like that's just what they're doing with them. And once they're on the practice squad, they make a different salary from what you make on the normal roster. Doesn't count against the cap at that point. Doesn't make what he was going to make otherwise, okay? So he's making a lesser deal at that point if he's a practice squad guy. But he's not going to make that money. So you're saving the $2.5 million. That's the key point here. You're saving $2.5 million. Madden says maybe this is why I suck at Madden. Well, it's the salary cap is complicated and it's meant to be complicated. So it's understandable. It's got a lot of working parts to it. It's not just straightforward as 2 + 2 always equals 4. It's like it always equals 4. It's almost like coding where it's like but if, and you have all these but if logic statements beyond just the straightforward 2 + 2 = 4. And again, understand, Megan, if it's to try to stash him on that practice squad like 283 says, You're also doing this because you need enough bodies to be able to run training camp practices. And right now you have a couple of receivers that are a little bit beaten up. And you're probably trying to limit some of the snaps you got on DK and Tyler in practice because you want to preserve them for the long regular season of 17 games. So you're trying to find extra guys to kind of be able to do the full allotment of your work. But again, I think the best way to think of this is that he's just not going to make the roster. This was all about, getting something for a player you were going to release anyway. So Castillo definitely worked through his last inning of work there. He's well over 100 pitches. You got to wonder if as well we're not going to have seen maybe the last inning of Ohtani there. They probably go into their bullpens. So this game will be determined by the bullpens. Mariners with 7 hits and 9 runners left on base, 8 strikeouts, 1 walk. The Angels lineup has left 14 runners on base. They've got 9 strikeouts, 1 walk. Luis Castillo is so good in his control today. Only a mere 6 hits. Boy, both what stands out with both Castillo and Shohei today is Castillo 17 of the 25 batters he faced, he did first pitch strikes. Ohtani got 18 of 26. That's gonna definitely help you when you can get that first pitch in there like that. Very good job by both of those two guys today. And Castillo getting dabbed up in the whatever the hell it's called. In the deal. Sometimes I have things like that'll be a confusion. I'm going to go to sleep, wake up and get it. It is why I say. Wants is in. Watch out. He may throw at us. He may. Hey, we hit a batter in this game. Does that mean the Angels have to come at us now again? And he misses here, but he's got Jake Lamb quickly into a 1-2 count. Julio on deck. 1-2 pitch. Outside. Ball 2. Lamb is 1 for 2 today. Bullpen. Both the Angels and the Mariners have had pretty good bullpens this year. The ball's hit foul. Good job of staying alive there by Jake Lamb. Big Country Gate game, only 1 run. I'm putting the other on Mitch and Julio. Yeah, me too. Should be up 3-2 in this. We should be just about ready to bring in all of our stoppers and then throw in the closer. So that Julio should be a home run hit there. 2-2 pitch here to Lamb. Bounced foul, fair to the first baseman, gets it to the pitcher, and that will be out number 1. Yeah, 283 says, at the end of the day, this trade most likely won't matter or affect the future of the team. It just adds another body to the 85-man roster and saves us $1.3 million. Yep. Exactamundo. All right, Julio up to plate. First at bat, first pitch swinging, first pitch out. And he got up there and hit one behind in the count. 1-2-0-2. Hit an opposite field shot that looked like a home run. Beautiful swing. Last at bat, he lined out to dead center. Let's see what he's got here. First pitch swinging and hits it foul. 0-1. Daniel says, come on, Julio. Show him what's up. Show him what's up. Tell you, that opposite field home run does show you, and that home run the other night, that that hand's got to be feeling somewhat decent to get that much power on it. Boy, he got a pitch to hit there, and he just swung right through it. Swung out of his shoes on that one. Julio was definitely looking to He was definitely looking to put him ahead on that one. Whew. Swung so hard he couldn't stop his bat swing. Hit the catcher. Catcher's over there trying to wave off his arm. 0-2 now. Swings wildly out of the zone on a slider. Strike 3. 2 men down. Some tough at-bats lately for Julio, and as Big Country says, damn, Julio looking like April Julio. Definitely looking like the April version a little bit here, yeah. Just a little jumpy up at the plate. Again, back into that free swinging kind of mode of things a little bit here. It's like he's doing just a little too much, you know? Trying to do a little bit too much. That's what I liked about him on Friday night when he came back in, is it was just, he had real solid swings on the ball, wasn't trying to, I think he had a single, maybe a double in that game, or 2 singles, and it's good solid contact. First pitch strike here to Ty France. Swing and a miss on a pitch out of the zone. Ty like Julio in a bit of a struggling point here, and not just struggling from a hitting fashion. Again, just struggling with every count you seem to get him into. You just look at the thing and it's 0-2, 1-2. Just kind of always sort of Prometheusly pushing the ball up the hill in there at bat after at bat. We need these guys to find themselves here. This Mariner team is going to get anywhere this season. And the other Castillo is warming up there in the pen. This ball is hit back by France. Strange swing there where he seemed to be hit one-handed and his offhand at that. Julio says, what's up with the Yankee highlights? What do you mean, Julio? Which Yankee highlights? One-two here to France. High, ball 2. Big Country says, not waving the red flag on the offense. Need a couple of weeks. Me neither. I think it is what it is on it. You know, you got Trammell coming back, but the lineup is where it is. And this ball is batted over to the first baseman on the ground. Easy play. Out number 3. And we'll head to the bottom of the 7th. 7th inning stretch. The Mariners and Angels remain tied 2-2. Lordy. You porn people. Goodbye to the Orn. Goodbye to the Orn. But I'm going to have patience, Big Country. Trammell's all you got coming back in. I mean, really at this point, all you can truly kind of hope for is maybe you can help the DH position with the bat on deck. Maybe Kyle Lewis at some point can find his stroke. I've about given up on Kelnick for this year at least and being able to help this lineup. But Trammell, Lewis, maybe one of those two guys can do something with it. Because, again, DH has been a position for them that has been so tough. He's doing better tonight with Winker in there. He's 2 for 3. But it's definitely one of the weaknesses of this lineup. I think it is what it is, though, man. Big Country, and I'm okay with it. I didn't want him to make a move for a bat. I don't think there was a bat. It's a little bit like a microcosm of the start of the season, Big Country, where, you know, everybody was wanting the Mariners to make a move because they theoretically had money to spend, but there wasn't really a bat to go by. And at the trade deadline, there was Soto, and maybe there's a couple of marginal bats out there that you probably would have given up way more than you wanted to for the marginal returns that they bring or would have brought in. I don't think it was worthwhile to do it. And I think just you lean back in this lineup knowing you had stuff returning, knowing Julio was going to come back around and Mitch was going to get in the lineup, and maybe one of these struggling bats would find their way and hit somewhere near what their batting average is for their career totals. You know, just give me your, near your career average. Give me within like 20 points of your career average. not your career year, your career average. And that's the part that I'm going to still have faith in. Something will round out with that here as this year goes through, I think. I think Julio's going to find himself. Not surprised a little bit, maybe the struggles, like I said, where he's at this year with the injuries he had to fight through. Been out of action for a couple weeks. Just not into his, his theoretical flow state. Big Country says, yeah. Sam the Great says some moron just ran on the field. Did he? Is that what that was? Talk about a move that's not worth it unless you pull it off epically. Big Country says, yeah, there really wasn't a bat out there at the deadline for a good price. There just wasn't. There really wasn't. You just went back and looked through, and with Adam Frazier kind of coming on, I always do lean back in this lineup again going, okay, if Frazier gets me up into even 250. If I got Haggerty out there as a kind of a norm guy now, I can flip in Winker in and out of the lineup against lefty-righty matchups a bit more. I got Haniger back as a stable force over in right field. Eugenio and Cal are kind of like similar in what they're giving you a bit there in that respect. Both give you great defense with pop in the bat, but the average is going to be Crawford steady. Frazier 250, just enough. Then you just start locking in those couple quick areas and go, okay, what do we have then on these other spots? Coach, there just wasn't anything out there. Not better than what you had kind of in-house. In-house just needs to round itself out. And that's a first pitch ball to Magnarius Sierra. And we got Diego Castillo in the game for the Mariners now. 283 says Drury was the only one I wanted. Wouldn't have been bad. I wouldn't have been a bit like screaming if they had went out and got the bat, but there wasn't that fit like there was with getting Castillo. There wasn't the equivalent Castillo trade for the lineup sitting out there. 1-1. Nice pitch there by Castillo on the outside part of the plate. Bob in the seventh. Nobody out. Low. Big Country says, but I think this offense could be at least average. The talent is there. It's what I fall back into, my man. Same spot that I lean into where I go, this should still, once I can remove the questions on the injury stuff, which that's always unpredictable, but all the guys that are coming back, were due to come back, have come back, getting back in their flow, are healthy enough to roll, then I just trust back into the designs of the talent and ability within this lineup to at least get into that, creeping into that averagey sort of state of things. And with a dominant starting rotation, with a dominant bullpen, and with dominant defense, 3 of the four factors of a Major League Baseball team, you're dominant now. And then just one aspect, you're merely average. What does that formula equate out to at a given end point of the year? I like my chances. And Diego got a nice call there for that strike 2 call. That was definitely looked maybe an inch or two off the plate. 2-2 now here. The wine, the delivery. Butchered out there, foul. Sam the Great, first time I've seen that on a baseball field. Great comedy. It is great comedy. If I'm running on the field, I'm going to make it last. I'm going to be dodging, ducking, and weaving. But if you're going to do it, you want to do it on the baseball field, not the football field, because those roided up dudes they'll take you out. You'll get decleated. 283 says, yeah, I'm totally fine with Jerry not trading for a bat. Me too. I could be sitting alone in a little bit on this branch in this particular tree, but I lean back and say that this team right now is outperforming my overall expectations for where I thought they were going to be this year. I'm going to keep that in perspective because, again, the patient approach here is the best approach. And we've gone bad in the past with this kind of Mariner team by going all in when it wasn't an all-in type of year. And it really then set your farm system back. That's why the farm system got so bare as it did, was because all these shortcut moves were made, that Eric Bedard trade in particular, just made for the very, very short term without any sort of look to the long. And that's ball 3 here. Castillo is definitely kind of... Sierra's done a good job of fighting off some pitches foul, but Castillo has also kind of... When he's off in this bat, pretty far off. Castillo with the wind on 3-2. This ball's hit on a line. Woo! Ham Swaggerty drips so hard is on the case. He'll have it solved in but an hour. Normal detectives, they might take a while to track that play, but he was on it from the jump. Looked like trouble. Falling fast, nobody out. Don't want to get that opening runner on. But Mr. Ham Haggerty says, don't worry about it. I got you, boo. I got you. Sam the Great says he did 2-week juke moves. Did the guy jump the field? And then the Anaheim PF ended the nonsense. Haha. You got to come out there with some... You better come out there, have done some, like, you've been running some mile sprints and stuff. I mean, come on. If you're going to do it, go big. That ball's hit up in the air. Foul. I'll go right back. There's so many Dodger uniforms in the fans in the stadium. What is that about? Did they get confused on what stadium they're going to because there's 2 teams in LA? Did they thought like, oh, these tickets are so cheap, man. Front row. Literally like half the front row of Angels Stadium has got Dodger fans in Dodger uniforms. 1-1 count here to Andrew Velasquez. 1 man out. Castillo with a wide delivery. Ooh, almost hit him. Sure would like to get the out number 2 here. Do not want to get Shohei Ohtani an opportunity in this inning with a runner on base. Castillo, all that nervous energy, patting his glove, patting his hat, patting his butt, patting his thigh, patting the ball, getting into his wind. Velasquez shows bunt. Ball, 3-1. Castillo into the wind. Swing and a miss. What do you guys think the last name was? It's had to have happened in baseball history at some point. What do you think? I got an answer. I know what the answer is, I bet. Castillo in the wind now, 3-2. Strike 3. Gets him looking. 2 men down. Castillo stomps on the back of the pitcher's mound with intimidation. But what do you guys think the last starter in Major League Baseball who started a game with the same last name as the guy who then came in and relieved him? My money's on Smith. I got Smith on that. Smith relieving Smith. Because, of course, in this game, you got Luis Castillo. And Luis can have a tendency to be wild at times, but it's nice that when he is wild here in these moments that he's missing low. It's encouraging to see. It's where you want to miss low if you're going to be a little wild. 1-0 here to Jose. Outside, ball 2. Jones, Megan. Jones is a good one. But I want to. There's not been. I don't know. Weirdly, I don't know. There's been only hitters named Jones. Andrew Jones, Chipper Jones. A lot of guys. It's a good hitter's name. I don't know. Has there been a lot of Jones pitchers? I feel like there have been kind of few and far between. Megan says I'd go with Smith. It's always a good one, right, Megan? When you're looking for the ultimate generic name. 2-0 here to Jose. Batted foul. Ethan Tucker with Hernandez. Hernandez could be one, too. I feel like there's maybe been a couple of relievers named Hernandez. And there certainly has been their share of starters. You got Pedro Hernandez, Ramon Hernandez, Felix Hernandez. 2-1 pitch here. Batted foul, 2-2. Let's punch this guy out here. Make the lineup have to wait to turn over into next inning there. Let's go, let's go. Big Country says Martinez. Martinez is in. That's a good one, too. Good possibility on that. I was wondering maybe Rodriguez. I don't know, though, with the that ball's hit on a line. Haniger running up. Makes the catch. There we go. Seattle showing you outfield defense matters in this inning. 2 plays that if you've got a below average right or left fielder in this inning, you might have a couple of those balls get down. But Haniger tracks it down, makes the catch. He'll be up to the plate here in the next inning as the Mariners are going to go into the middle of their order. Top of the 8th inning, Mariners, Angels 2-2. But I don't know. I think the Martinez one is pretty low-key it. With Pedro, Felix, Ramon Martinez, I mean, those guys, the 3 of those guys alone probably pitched in 800 games in their career. There had to be a time one of them was relieved by another Martinez. I changed my Smith answer. I'm stealing Big Countries. That was a great play, Matt Beeler, by Haniger there. Outfield defense matters. And one of the reasons that you're one of the best defensive teams in the baseball, if not the best, is not just because of your infield defense with slick gloves like Eugenio and Crawford. It's those guys in the outfield, too, when they can be rangy. Julio's a plus defender. Haniger, I think, is a plus defender overall. And certainly Haggerty gives you at least somewhat of a near plus defender out there in left field. Hags let me down the other night, but he's been pretty good overall. I can't beat on him too hard. Yeah, Megan, there was these. I say Martinez, Megan, because Pedro pitched forever, and his brother pitched for a while with the Dodgers, and Felix was here damn near 20 years. So I'm just playing the numbers on it, Megan, as much as anything. Playing those odds. Smith would still be solid, though. Smith still probably could end up winning it out. Be right back, folks. One sec. Oh, some water. All right, so Winkman just quickly struck out here. Those innings go faster in baseball. Oh, no, they were showing his last at bat. Jeez, I was like, what the hell? No. So Winkers quickly in an 0-2 count here. Hits it hard up the middle, but the center fielder's got it on the line. A couple of those tonight where the Mariner batters have hit it hard, but they're hitting it right dead center, and he's a pretty good glove out there, their center fielder. He's got some wheels, and he gets some good jumps on balls where he ends up tracking them down kind of with ease. With ease. 283-128 says Cal Raleigh homer is coming. We need a Cal Raleigh homer, man. We just need one of these guys to let's give us a jack here. Mitch Haniger up the plate. Strike. Mitch extending his hitting streak tonight to 12 games. Also has put another walk on the board on top of getting that single and looked very good at the plate. His presence has been so well received back in this Mariner lineup. Ball, 1-1. Angels are really doing a good job of going away from Haniger in this game. And he's not kind of making an adjustment to it. It's sort of like he's locking a little bit in on a pitch being in the middle to inside portion of the plate. And they're not staying away necessarily from that outside spot yet. Let's see how they try to go after him here on 1-2. Back to the outside portion of the plate. And again, he's swinging at it meekly for strike number 3. You could see it on the last swing. He just didn't get to it over there on that side of the plate. He wasn't getting the coverage there, even close to it. And it's on a pitch that's fairly close to that side. The last pitch was well off, but they come right back to that same side, realizing he's not getting the coverage there. Tough at bat there by Haniger, like just as I'm giving him some props for having so many good at bats that he's been able to stack recently. All right, 2 runners out, and it does look like the Angels skipper here is going to make a change. Get the lefty-on-lefty matchup with Crawford, no doubt. Understandable. Mariners have Munoz working in their pen right now. Very interesting. Mariners in this game, only 9 runners left on base, so it's not been as bad tonight as it's been recently, but 7 hits, 1 walk, 10 strikeouts. Lineup still just kind of struggling to find itself here a little bit. Julio 0 for 4. Ty France 0 for 4. Tough. And the Angels do send their top of the order back up in the bottom of the 8th inning. Haven't been as many bad at-bats in this game either, I'll say, too. It's not been as painful moments throughout this game with some of these guys up the plate in their approach. Julio's definitely had some rough at-bats. Cal Raleigh's had some rough at-bats. But everybody else, for the most part, through this order has been okay, at least in taking pitches. They made Ohtani work. Loop is up right now in relief. The lefty specialist for the Angels, 4.43 ERA on the year, 42 innings pitched, 45 strikeouts, 15 walks. He's going to pump the zone here for Crawford. Crawford with a tough little matchup here now. And he's a submarine guy, so it's especially tough when you're a lefty as a submariner. It's tough when you're a righty as a submariner. But as a lefty, you already barely see lefties as it is. And now you're getting the submariner on top of being a lefty. Guess he's not full submariner, but he's definitely sidearm. And boy, it's very close to submarine. Is that a ball? Oh, the catcher was even like, is that a ball? That thing was there. That was a strike. I guess it's tough on the umpires too, huh? Outside. Crawford draws the count to 3-0. Crawford 1 for 3 with an RBI single in the 3rd. Smoked one out there to center field. No doubt he'll be taken here. Strike. 3-1. We get the lefty matchup here with Aaron Loop. Not only do you got it with Crawford, but you got it with Frazier as well here. Loop comes set. Inside, ball forward. Nice job by Crawford. That's an easier said than done proposition. You aren't picking that pitch up until very late, and then you're picking it up from the back edge of your eye and then trying to judge a trajectory coming at you from the side. It's a wicked thing to ask of a batter there. I wonder if the Mariners might pitch hit here a little bit. Service might play a little bit of gamesmanship with the other manager. And indeed they will. Called it. Eugenio Suarez up to the plate. I love this. You counter the Angel manager, brings out the lefty specialist for having two lefties in the lineup due up next. You counter back with Suarez at this point. I like this quite a bit. Suarez hitting .226 on the year with 19 bombs. Let's get ourselves a bomb right here. Swing and a miss on the first pitch. And Eugenio's going to get a chance to, this is where being a submariner works against you, not in your favor, because the right-handed batters are going to be able to really have a good opportunity to see that ball from where you're coming from versus how it is for the, and he hits that ball hard right down the line, but foul 0-2. Both of those were strikes. See if Eugenio can remain patient here. Daniel, I did 283. I did see your question on Roquan. I've got an answer for it, but I'm going to wait to answer it at the change of inning because it's going to be probably a little bit of a long answer. Well, maybe not a long answer, but you know how it is with me. 0-2 here. Runner on first, 2 men down, 2-2 game. Suarez pinch hitting for Frazier. And he'll step out. Loop taking a little bit of extra time here to figure out what pitch he wants to throw. No doubt trying to find one that he can bury a little bit probably. And oddly, the Angels are going through signs. I guess they don't have their headpieces in. Earpiece. That ball's bounced. Crawford will remain on first. Come on, Eugenio. Swing and a miss. Like a slider out of the zone. Changeup. Got him on his front foot there. So that'll be the 11th strikeout of the game for your Mariners. And they continue to struggle with with runners on base. But again, he had a couple pitches to hit early in that count. This game, more than being about patience and approach, has been when you've had pitches to hit, you just haven't been able to hit them. And they haven't given you a lot of them in this game. Angels have pitched you pretty tough as well, but when you early in that count, he's got a couple pitches in the center point of the plate. It's not able to do anything really with it. So in regards to your question, 283, do I think an agent is slowing down the trade for Roquan? I think that is going to probably make some teams pause to want to deal with the situation. I think there are teams out there that probably have a little more hesitancy than others than to deal with a player who doesn't have an agent. So yeah, that doesn't help matters. My instinct on this is that the main thing slowing it down is probably the Bears are thinking initially out this that they would be able to get a first-round pick in return for Roquan. But as I was maintaining on that show that we did last week about it, you're not getting a first-round pick for Roquan Smith. The middle linebacker value is just not there throughout the league to be able to dictate that from a team, number one. And number two, that you have to pay him. And Chicago is going to have to come to their peace with that aspect of things, that you're not going to be able, you're not in a position where you're handing a player over with club control who's on a rookie contract. You're handing over a player that they're going to have to pay. And it's not like you're doing an A.J. Brown, Tennessee Titans, moving him to the Eagles at a wide receiver position that's highly valued in the league. You're doing it at a devalued position in the league. And so they're probably having a hard time coming to grips with that, because as you get to this point of the time, part of, again, one of the reasons 283 I've said that the Seahawks could be true candidates in this mix, you're at the point of training camp. Most of the teams have used up all of their salary cap space. So you factor in he's probably an inside 3-4 linebacker. He's probably he's got to go to a team with the cap space. He's got to go to a team with the cap space who also has the draft picks to offer, being at this point probably maybe a second-round pick. So you have a team like Denver, right, who might be in on that mix, but Denver doesn't have the salary to spend there. They don't have the draft capital as well. So they got to go sign or trade for, I think, Joe Schubert today and have him be the guy to retake their guy that they lost at their linebacker position. And that's a little bit what goes on here. Everything gets reduced down anyway by the natural order of things and being training camp and those teams not having the salary cap space, but then it gets further reduced by scheme, maybe further reduced maybe a little bit more by not having an agent. And then suddenly you take all of the teams from 32 and it just becomes down to maybe a bare bones few. And those few are probably still not offering what the Bears want in compensation, because they want to take that compensation and put it back to the offensive side of the ball for Fields, their quarterback. Shohei Ohtani up at the plate now. 2-2, Andrew Munoz. Get your popcorn ready. Strike. Very nice pitch. A little slider there by Munoz. Nicely done. Nicely done. Ball's bounced up at the plate. Ohtani's out in front. Ohtani hustling down the line. Safe. Angels get the opening batter on the inning on. He just nubbed it. Nubbed it off the front, right in front of the home plate. Cal Raleigh jumped out of his stance. He was on it quick. Fired it to first. A good throw. And Ohtani indeed got there safe. Ohtani just hustling out of the box. He's a lefty, of course. Those lefties, as we saw for years with the Ichiro Suzuki, those lefties, and I can attest to this, I was a lefty too, you do get that extra half step out of the box. D-Boy, what's up, D-Boy? How you doing, bro? Good to see you in the chat. Hope you're doing well, man. Got a tight little game going on here. That ball's hit up in the air. Munoz's first reaction had me nervous. But Haggerty's like, Andrew, man, I got this. What are you worried about? Makes the catch. And thank you, D-Boy. You remind me of this, and it's always good because I always forget. If you do like what you're listening to tonight, please do hit, for me, please, that like button. I would appreciate it. Megan says, okay, a dumb question. What do you mean by being a submarine pitcher? It's a great question, actually. They're few and far between anymore, Megan, in baseball. And this guy's really what would be called a side armor. He's not really submariner. I like saying submarine pitcher more than anything else. And it's very close. A sidearm submariner is very, very close. It's about release point. So with a side armor, when you're throwing baseball-wise, Megan, you're usually coming over the top, if you're watching the camera here, over the top like this. You're coming down over the top. And when you're sidearm, of course, as you can see here at the camera, and Munoz has a 1-1 count here to Taylor Ward. When you're coming sidearm, as you can see, my arm goes from here to here. That's pure sidearm. And I'll try to give you a little bit of a view here. So imagine going sidearm. Now twist your arm like this, where your palm up. And imagine dipping your shoulders and sort of throwing palm up. So it's almost, that ball's hit up into the air. This should be an easy play for Julio Rodriguez. Mitch Haniger's like, I know what happened in the first inning. I'm not coming near you. So when you're throwing a submarine pitch, Megan, it's like you're throwing it palm up. And it's almost like almost the trajectory of just about like what you would get from a softball pitcher, like a fast pitch softball pitcher. It's a little bit like that same thing, not quite underhanded, but that you're coming from there and you're dropping your shoulders down and you're really burrowing down low. That guy was really more sidearm. And there aren't really very many submariners. There might be just a couple in the league at this point, but there are still a lot of sidearm guys. And the key with the sidearm guys, Megan, is that they're really brought in to be specialists, righty, lefty, lefty. They're there to attack the same arm they're pitching with, they're there to attack with. And they're very good at it because it's very tough on those hitters to hit sidearm guys like that. You just can't pick up the ball in the same way you can when it's coming over the top. more with your line of sight right on it at all times. Jared Walsh up at the plate, 0-1 count, 2 men down here for the Angels. Munoz doing a good job here. He had the middle of the lineup to deal with in this inning, and he is handling business okay. Ohtani even on that hit, and he got Ohtani to go down the dirt. Get him dirty. Megan, it can be both arms. It can be either arm. It's just mainly if you're dropping your shoulders, coming with almost that under, almost like a softball trajectory where you're coming at fast pitch softball. It's just a little bit like that, but a little more closer to the side. That's a swing and a miss by Walsh. Look like another just nice slider there by Munoz. He always has great movement on that, but really good movement tonight on it. Slider or a curve there. Oh, no, it's a sinker. Jesus. I was like, why is that got drop motion, though? It doesn't have that snap side. That was just, Hit him with the sinker. 0-2 count. Ohtani on first. Hit up into the air. Haggerty a long way to run. That ball's going to get down. And Ohtani gets all the way to third as he's running with 2 outs there. Haggerty, long coverage. You got a lefty batter there. You're going to have your left fielder shaded a little bit towards center. So when the lefty hits it, even though it's a very softly hit ball, Haggerty's got to come from way far out there in the outfield to go over there and get to that. Just hit them where they aren't sometimes. All right, first and third. Whew, first and third, here we go. Two men out. Degar stepping up to the plate. He had an awful time with Castillo in this game, 0 for 3 with 3 strikeouts. Let's see if Munoz can stem the tide here, get this Mariner team to the 9th inning, and let that Mariner magic take form. The pitch. Low, ball 1. Ethan McKinley Ratter says, Andrews, my slider is my best pitch, but I also throw 105 mile an hour fastball. Munoz. Exactly. Good luck. And you're getting me for 1 inning, so you ain't getting 2 times through the lineup. You're going to see me 1 time when you see me. 1-0. Oof. There it is. There it is. Hey, good luck. No, you got no chance of that slider if he's throwing it for strikes. And if he's throwing it for strikes at the edges of the zone, good night. 1-1. Munoz comes set. Swing and a miss. Gave him the steam. Saw a few flames licking that fastball at 100 miles an hour. Top of the zone said good luck. And Degar could not catch up to it. 1-2. Degar waving the bat. Getting ready. Munoz coming set. Raleigh setting up inside. Strike 3. Degar knew he couldn't do anything with that slider. He knew it. He said, I can't touch this thing. And I said, you throw for a strike as a batter, you just got to tip your cap to the pitcher, say, hey, good job. Well done. Big Country, that was unlucky on the little base hit. Yeah, that was. Matt Beeler, damn the river. They got angles in the outfield. They do. What a beautiful. Let's go, Michael. That's right. Let's go. What a beautiful pitch. You got him fully confused there. He's just swung through a 100-mile-an-hour fastball. He's geeked up on the fastball. He sees the slider and he goes, he's got a pitch to waste. He's just going to bury it away off me. He's gonna ground one on this. No, he's not. Nope. It's coming right back after you. The golden sombrero. Mr. Degar is going to have to wear it well. D-Boy says, I know I hate hitting versus sub sidearm pitchers on the MLB The Show. I wonder, is it like that in real life? Brandon, do you have any experience with that type of pitcher in real life? I have played against them, D-Boy, but I was a left-handed batter. So I could probably, coming up, even though I played for a good 17, 18 years in total, like I can count on the number of times on my hand that I faced even a lefty pitcher. And all of those guys were pretty much over the top. It still freaked me out, though, because I never would see it. So even though they weren't submarine, D-Boy, it would feel like a submarine because you just never saw guys coming from that arm slot ever. I always got the righty coming in. But I did see it against our right-handed bats. For sure. And it's legitimate. It's legitimate hard. And especially if you get guys, D-Boy, we had a guy back in the day, and this was on that 95-ish Mariner team, one of the more teams you'll hear, I'm sure you've heard referenced quite a bit with the Griffey and the A-Rods. And you had Randy on that team, and you also had a fairly good bullpen overall at that time of that team. And a guy by the name of Jeff Nelson was on that team. And he would just be brutal because what you'll get to with that, D-Boy, and I'm sure you know this off the show, is you get the submariner, and let's say you got a righty submariner, and he drops, and he's throwing underneath, and it's coming from that far angle, and then he's throwing a slider too. So now it's coming out at the far edge of the angle on you, right? And then it almost looks like when it's leaving his hands, this thing's going to end up at my back. I mean, this is going to end up behind me here. And you just kind of put the bat on your shoulders and like, no chance. And then it starts to swing, and then the slider kicks in on the movement. Swing and a miss by Raleigh on the first pitch. 0-1 here. And it's just even more brutal. That's what Nelson used to do. He had this just wicked slider with a lot of break, and he was coming from that angle. And he could throw 93, 94 miles an hour. Raleigh 0-2. Seems like every count Raleigh gets into lately, he's sitting 0-2 after 2 pitches. Just again, making it hard for himself at times. That was a borderline pitch there on that foul. It just gets a titch aggressive. That's going to come with, I think, maturation, though. 0-2. Hit on the ground, right to the third baseman, and that will be an easy play over to first. Tough night for Cal. He's kind of struggling a little bit here lately. Ethan says, what is he swinging at? He's just getting over aggressive. That's where it is. It's that I don't know if it's just he feels like I'm only going to get that one good pitch to swing at, or he's just so hyped up to swing, but it's almost like he's decided he's going to swing before the pitch is even thrown. A little frustrating. Adolfo Alvarez, saludas desde Venezuela. Well, hello in Venezuela, Adolfo. ¿Cómo está usted? Yo muy bien. All right, Ham Swaggerty up at the plate. Can he save the day? He's got a 1-1 count here. Hags has had a little bit of a tough one here, but he does, after all, drip so hard. And we know with that drip comes that magic. Top of the 9th inning, 1 man out. Oh, off of his instep. They're going to call a strike on the play, even though he was hit by the pitch. It did indeed look like he did check his swing. And yep, Haggerty in the check swing, he did swing through, even though he was hit by the pitch there. So even Hags is not immune to getting a little bit over aggressive. It's kind of his swing, though, that made him get hit. If he's taken there, he probably gets out of the way of that pitch. So a little bit of an oddity, 1-2 count here now on the Ham man. Inside, good job of taking there. That was close. 1-2. Tony, us against the world. That's right, Tony. That's right. Just how we'd like it. We all we got. We all we need. Come on, Ham. Come on, Ham. Hit hard down the line. Now to get out outfield, not down the line, but just past the third base side. And that will be a base hit. I told you. He drips. He walks with swag. He wears a fur coat. He is called the man, the myth, the legend, Ham, not Sam, Swaggerty. I'm going to eventually just forget his normal name. So this is just going to be his name. Let's go. Let's go, Ham. And out to the plate, steps one. Got a black magic woman. That's right, Carlos Santana. And let's see if he's got a tasty lick he's going to whip out on his guitar here. I need me a nice little solo here, Carlos. And you go up, I need you to go right up the top on that sucker. Come on. Inside, ball. Ball gets away. Thrown into center field. This will allow the runner to progress. Boy, the catcher for the Angels kind of just spazzed out. Stazzy spazzed out. It was a Stazzy spaz. Stazzy spaz because the ball was thrown in the dirt. Stazzy blocked it well, but was just anticipating for sure that Haggerty was running on the play. Haggerty was holding, and after the throw into center field, then does progress into second base. Nice job there by Santana. Even though that ball is well off the plate, there's another guy that can sometimes get a little bit too much of a free swinger at times up there. He has been good in these moments since the trade over from the Royals. And Haggerty took the base. Stolen base by Sam Haggerty. That away. Drip so hard, you better believe it. Learn thy name. The Ham Man can. And how about Santana showing a little bunt to try to hide it a little bit? That tells me that was maybe a called steal there. What a big steal. One man out, runner on third. Fly ball gets the job done. Paul Sewald ready in the pen, no doubt about it. Infield comes up at the grass. Strike at the knees on Santana. Good take on his part. He nods his head. He knows it's a strike, but he didn't want no part of that. He's not going to be able to lift that pitch up at the knees. You need a little bit more elevation. And with Santana hitting for the right side here, you know he's going to be able to track this pitch well coming out of the lefty's hand. Inside again, wildly inside, 2-1. 2-2 now? They must have called a strike on that was... Okay. All right, I'll allow it. 2-2 here. Ham Swaggerty over on third base by his sheer will of force has gotten himself over there. Yeah, Santana's like, how is it 2-2-2? I was the same way. He called a strike on that pitch that looked low to me. The pitch tracker says it was a strike according to what I'm looking like on that, but boy, on the steal there, that did not look like a strike. Okay, there we go. They got it back now. Jesus, I thought I was taking crazy pills. 3-1. Three-one pitch here to Santana. Inside, and he is going to walk him. Well, as they say in the chat, it is redemption time here for Julio. Robbed in back-to-back games of home runs, it would seem to me. Call me a homer, call me biased, but it might still just be the truth. Julio taps his helmet. He's going to step on into the plate, and I like him here in this situation. He's got a nice, natural lift to his stroke. Part of what gives him the power like it does. You sure would like to see him just lift a ball up into the outfield. Get this runner home. Close this baby up. It's been a tough day for Julio overall. Scuttling a little bit. Last few games. Runners on first and third. Inside ball. Loop having a little bit of a hard time getting locked out of the he's missing in the same spot over and over again. And he can't quite get out of that inside low part of the zone right now on these right-handed hitters. I don't know if maybe he's trying to bury it on their hands a bit. 1-0, throw over to first. Moore gets back, cannot get caught off first here. And again, with those lefties, they could be sneaky with it. I had a great first base move. I had my whole delivery set up out of the stretch on being able to get over the first base on my leg kick up. 1-0. Inside again, like I said, kind of missing in that same spot. I was a little bit higher, but again, way inside. Julio here has got a 2-0 count. He's going to get a pitch he can handle here, no doubt about it. I don't think the pitcher is necessarily trying to pitch careful to him. He's just struggling to find the zone after that last walk. 2-0 pitch here to Julio. Banged right at the second baseman. He gets it, throws it home. They've got a run down. God, what was Haggerty thinking there? Haggerty's got a free spot to go home. And runners home, save it first. 3-2 Mariners. I don't know why I questioned him. I questioned Haggerty. I shouldn't have questioned Haggerty because there is only one Haggerty. Let's go. Julio hit a rocket shot at the second baseman. It's a little bit like when you're watching tennis and the guys get within about 3 feet of each other and one of the guys lines up and just lets it rip. And the other guy just sort of does all he can to kind of protect himself. And sometimes it's the racket, sometimes it's the guy. And then they always do the little like, sorry about that. I wasn't purposely hitting the tennis ball at you, as though it hurt them or something. But on this play, right at the second baseman, in exactly the same kind of fashion, the baseman got the glove up at the last second so it didn't hit him in the face. Thing had about 120 mile an hour exit velocity on it. Knocks the ball down. And then you've got an odd situation where your guy in first hasn't left the bag. Julio's running for first. Nobody's on second in that moment. The second baseman has the wherewithal after he's had the ever-loving crap knocked out of him on the line drive to then look at third. Haggerty then delays going home all of a sudden, decides, I got to go home. He gets in a rundown. One of the few rundowns I've seen in recent memory where he beats it out because there's not a runner at home. There's not Loop wasn't at home to cover. I don't know if Loop maybe missed his spot there. I'm going to guess he did. Where he was supposed to be there on the pick, you're on the pickle and catcher comes up. Now the pitcher's got to replace the catcher behind him in the pickle there, and he didn't. Gave Haggerty the free run home, and then a great job by looked like Dylan Moore there to take the extra base on third. This ball is going to be hit on the ground, home, and as a score, Mariners are making it happen. They are making it happen in this inning. Ball was hit on the ground rather than go for the double play. Rather than go for the double play, the infielder went home with it. The ball was thrown into the base path. Dylan Moore knocked the glove free there, as you're going to get contact then when the catcher's then been drawn into the base path like that naturally, and then Dylan Moore able to knock the ball free from the catcher. Wow, this is baseball, folks. You always often see things you've never seen in every game you watch with this, and sometimes in even back-to-back at bats like this right here. Clear play at home. The catcher did a little bit of a cardinal sin there where he, instead of reaching with his hand, usually you put your hand into the mitt and you reinforce your grip on the ball and then go over and make the tag. And instead what the catcher did, it just made the one-handed tag, which then opens up for the potential of the ball to get knocked loose. 2 plays, though, here back-to-back, you don't see but once every blue moon in baseball. These are 2 very odd kind of plays to go on like this. Very, very strange, but let's go. 4-2 Mariners. The Mariner magic is still alive this season. You can question some things here and there about this team, but you better not question their resiliency, and you better not question Ham. Swaggerty drip so hard. The legend continues to grow. This ball hit on the ground. The only play over to first base, but this will score another run. Julio is turned up. Stokes scoring from home. Winker gets him home. Nice job on his part. Mariners suddenly up 5-2 in this game as this has gotten out of control. Well, a little sloppiness here by this Angel team. Fielding is one of those things you mention, I mention, people will mention as a plus on a team, and it gets undersold sometimes. I've tried to bring your guys' attention to it when you see it in outfield defense, or it will show up sometimes in a very subtle ways. And the Angels are going to intentionally walk Mitch Haniger here, it looks like, to get Crawford up to the plate. And this is to get back into that lefty-lefty matchup here with JP. But what a great inning. And what a fun play that was to watch that play out. It's not something you get to see here in baseball. Just those rundowns, those guys have it to a science by the time they get the pro level, where it's those guys know just what to do. And that ball is hit by Crawford. This might be trouble, and it is going to be trouble. Ty France is churning those little legs, churning those stubby little tree trunks as fast as he can, and he gets home. Does a head first slide just for the hell of it because he's feeling good like we all are. The Mariners up 6-2. Let's go, Mariners. Let's go. J.P. Crawford. How about that? Lefty-lefty matchup, sidearm or action coming at him. So I said as a lefty that when you face lefties as it is, it's hard. You're facing a lefty with a sidearm action on him. That's Mission Impossible style without Tom Cruise. You know? That's hard to do. But he pulled it off well there. Nice job by JP. 6-2. Mariners 4 runs in the top of this 9th inning. This has been a pitcher's duel all the way through. Neither lineup able to just carve much out. Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness. Ethan says, what a bunch of buffoons. Let's go. Build the statue now. Sam the Great says, beautiful running. What a play for the Mariners. What a play. Kyle Walker, let's go. Remember the time. Love this chaos ball game. Hey, it's kind of small ball, but I like chaos ball better. Chaos ball better works. And defense matters in this sport. Make no mistake about it. It matters. And it matters even on things like that aren't just routine type plays, but plays where you need everybody doing their part, doing their thing. As I said, you get in a rundown and you get a situation like that. If you get a player and you're like, who's the one that most likely be the one to miss his spot in the rotation of this pickle? Pitcher's the one, because the pitcher's usually sitting there at that time going, oh, I made a bad pitch, or he's thinking about what he just did, and he's not kind of on it as much. 283 says, born home runs that weren't called home runs, whatever's happening in the 9th, and probably a Mariners win. Oh, Tony, what's going on? I love it. Hey, Tony, stoked, man. This game's been just kind of slog going through. Great, well pitched by both these two guys. It was fun from that angle of it, but boy, it got wild here at the end, didn't it? Megan says, Doc Rogers says, beat Cosell getting upset when you question Ham, please. I cannot believe the sheer audacity, perplexity, ambivalence, and stupidity of one Brandon Kane in his calling and questioning of the one great, the superfluous one, the indistinguishable one, Ham Swaggerty. Mr. King questioned his drip so hard approach, and one can only wonder why. All right, Suarez back up the plate here now. Came on pinch hit last inning, struck out, quickly takes 0-1. Kyle Walker, DJ Khalid, and another one. And another one. Suarez hits it foul, 0-2, as the Angels just did make a pitching change. Kind of surprised how long the Angels went with the lefty there after Service countered him. The Angel manager did not have a counter to Service's counter. He kind of just went, well done, Scott, and just kept the lefty in on righty matchup. Kind of put his relief pitcher in a bit of a bind there, in my opinion. Flavor on deck. What's up, man? Danny W. Okay, I just saw the Haggerty go ahead run on Twitter. I see why it was so hard to communicate what happened there. Yeah, there was a lot of moving parts to try to unwind on that one, Daniel. and so also like, what is he up? You know, a lot of stopping and starting and trying to explain it. Big Country says maybe this is the game we need to get the offense going. It's why I've harped on the taking a little bit of the better approach to the plate, manufacturing some stuff, because then once you manufacture and you take a good solid approach to the plate, then you can get back to getting hot again, back to in that feel where you don't have to kind of think everything through as much a little bit in your approach at the plate. Just go on feel a little bit more like we know some of them are kind of wanting to do. Well, Suarez bounces out to third base. That will be the final out of the inning. But Mariners come in strong in the top of the ninth. This team, one of the trademarks, one of the hallmarks of this team over the last, not just this season, but going back to last season as well, has been their resiliency. Has been when the game gets tight, they get loose. When other people are kind of tense, they tend to go away from that. And that's remained over the last year and a half. They told you with the run differential after last year, there'll be a regression to the mean. They certainly can't play in the same kind of mode in back-to-back years and hope to find success within it. They certainly can't hope to win more games than they lose operating within this context. But when you have a team with this kind of mentality, this kind of ability to fight back in, claw back in, scratch back in, you got a chance. You always got a chance. Flavor on deck. Good to see you, man. Megan says time for the ham to put the bats into the handbags and call it a night. Great game as usual. Yep, we need Seawald. It's Seawald time now. Danny W. Sting Devil Rays. Mariners are up right now 6-2. Bottom of the ninth inning. Jackson Shore says, can we all just admit that Munoz is daddy? Undoubtedly he's daddy. Andres Munoz, he's just money. And now that you got Diego Castillo back, I mean, Diego, Andros, Seawald, back 3 innings of a game are closed now when those guys are healthy and rolling. Back 3 innings, you're good. Done. Pitchers only got to get us up through the 6th. Starters only got to get us up through the 6th. And if the middlemen like Brash, Murphy got to get in there, Swanson, who's been money as well, you're good. You feel so good about this bullpen. The lineup doesn't have to come far. It doesn't have to come to 5 runs a game or something. Just got to come up just a little bit. And boy, what an odd play there. But Haggerty as well. Let's give him the credit. Got it started off with a base hit. Keen base running, got him out there to second, or an over there got him a second, stole third, got home on kind of a magical sort of play. But Haggerty has got to remain in this lineup in perpetuity at this point. You got to keep him in. So Seawald in the game now. 0-1. 0-1 to 0-1 here. Paul Seawald in 47 games this year is a 2.31 ERA. Opponents hitting 123 off of him. 51 strikeouts in 46 innings. 11 walks. He will come after you. And no doubt probably liking having a little bit of this breathing room here. Probably liking the elbow space here. You know what I mean? Ethan says, Munoz is Aaron Judge's daddy. Well, and he might have to go back and visit his son here before this year's over, if you know what I mean. 1-1 pitch, slider, inside corner, strike. 1-2 on Max Stassi. Seawald on top of having a 4-run cushion here is also having a little bit of the benefit in this bottom of the ninth inning of facing the bottom of this Angel order. Stassi is 0 for 3 in this game. Swung, foul back. Pascal Paraguez says the Mariners own the Angels. Can't be denied, can it, Pascal? They shouldn't have woken the bear. They shouldn't have poken the bear. They shouldn't have thrown a baseball at the head of the bear. Because now he's out of hibernation. And his claws have grown long over 20 years. His teeth are sharp. Strike 3. Another nice slider by Seawald, this time on the outside part of the plate. And you know, he's a little grouchy. He's a little grouchy. He's been beaten on for 20 years. And you've been one of those teams to give him some of that hard time. And now those days are about to end. And now the pain is about to begin for someone else. And this year, we're just getting it started. So strap in, Los Angeles Anaheim, whatever city you're picking today, Angels. It's going to be a long ride. Flavor on Deck, likewise, finally got a chance to comment. Great stream as always. Well, thank you, Flavor on Deck. Appreciate it. Strike one to Magnarius Sierra. He's 1 for 3 in this game, hitting .212 on the season. Stingy Devroys, that's right about the Angels. Shouldn't really be much of a fight. True. You did get Shohei in this game, so this is when you had them with their best starter on the hill. One reason why taking this opening set is a very big win here for this, not only getting this series win, but I'm not going to get greedy and say sweep time. It's one game. Outside, 1 and 2 here on Magnarius. But let's get you in that step in that right direction. You know what I mean? Give him that pin pan, D-boy. Give that porn that pin ham. Megan, have a good night, Megan. And we'll be seeing you soon. Paul Stewald comes set. 1-2 pitch. Cal setting up high. Batted back. Stewald hit his spot. In the Tech World, Brandon, everybody, the Mariners Twitter said the bullpen needs a nickname. I've seen the slideshow and the seawall suggested. What do you think? I like the slideshow. I mean, it's okay, but neither are very intimidating. I feel like we need a little bit more of, when I think of like a bullpen nickname, I think of like the Cincinnati Reds with the Nasty Boys. 1-2. That ball's hit up into the air. This will be an easy play there for Crawford. And that's out number 2. Let's go. Have a good night, Megan. I'm not a fan of either nickname, Big Country. It's got to be something. It's got to be something with some bite. Like when you hear the name, batters' spine shiver in the night as they sleep. I'll have to face that tomorrow. It's got to draw that reaction. I got to face the slideshow tomorrow. Yeah. You're not striking fear in the hearts of that one. Joe Adele is going to pinch hit now for the Angels. Outside, ball 1. Have a good night, 283. Thanks for streaming the game. It's always a fun time. Hell yeah, it's always fun when you guys jump in with this, so I'm having a great time. Yeah, Ethan, it's got to sound mean. 1-0 here. Swing and a miss. 1-1. Nice pitch. Joe Adele retightens those gloves, kicks in the batter's box. It's tough work here against Mr. Seawald. 2-3, Matt Beeler, the Undertakers. I like that better. Swung, fouled out, 1-2. Undertakers has got kind of a nice ring to it. I like that one kind of, man. I think you're onto something there, Matt. That's more my speed. Yeah. The Undertakers. 1-2 pitch here from Paul. Let's close this sucker down. Oh! Hit him on the hand. That one always you feel, don't you? When you see it hit him on the hand, don't you kind of... It's one of those spots in the body you watch where you just... Your own hand kind of locks up a little bit. You know how much it hurts. Go Hawks 05. The Seattle Mariners. The Mariners. We got beat by the Mariners. D-Boy, what's the count? Well, I think he's going to first base. It was 1-2, but I don't think they're counting that as a swung pitch, are they? Oh, they are. Are they still? Did he do the same thing Sam did where he swung at a pitch? They're saying he swung at it, and then they hit the bat. Yeah, that's going to hurt. Are they calling that a strikeout? So they're okay. So in an odd finish to an odd game, we get an odd final finish pitch. So I guess that fits to form. He seemed to have swung at it. and it hit him on the hand, but he was swinging at it, so it didn't hit the bat. It hit the hand, even though the hand's on the bat. The hand's not the bat. So not a foul. So strike 3. Your Mariners close this one out in a wonderfully played game. This is a typical Mariners game that we've seen over time at times, where it just stays very tight throughout. They find their way at the end. Obviously, you don't usually get 4 runs in the ninth inning type. It's usually only need 1 or 2 runs because it's always just a little bit tight like that. But the recipe is there for this team. The recipe of the blueprint of what you see for this team is on display in these wins over and over again. And the most important part is that you can replicate it in this fashion. It's not by happenstance that you see the same thing. Great starting pitching, which is then buttressed by fantastic fielding. The Mariners have a .990 fielding percentage right now in baseball, which is the best in Major League Baseball. So you have those first 2 elements working together as your building blocks. And now the lineup is a part that I'm not going to try to falsely dress up, but it still has a lot of talent, has a lot of ability. You've not really at this point seen it at full strength, full go, everybody back from injury as close as you can be. It's getting there. It's about as close as I think you're going to get with that. But it's just starting to get to that rounded off point for the first time this season. Up until this point, you've been light at every turn, and that's with guys also underperforming within the lineup. And that now starts to get back to a little bit closer to full strength. It still struggled tonight through the most part. You were able to benefit on the back of a couple of errors by the Angels at the end, which definitely helped you in this respect to get over the top of this and get those runs in this game. But it's still a part that I look to come together in this aspect. The final third part, though, does remain also the part you saw on the board tonight, which is a dominant bullpen, which is a bullpen that could make a claim, stake a claim to being the best in baseball. You have damn near maybe the best rotation in baseball or very close to it. Best fielding in baseball, one of the best or damn near close to it. Best rotation in baseball. And then you happen to have maybe around, it's definitely been more of a mediocre lineup at this point or average lineup. And it's okay if it just gets to an average state because those other things are just so good. This could propel it forward. And what plays in playoff baseball? What is it? What is the type of brand of baseball that plays? As the nights grow long, as it gets colder, right? It gets a little colder, gets a little tighter. The ball doesn't jump as far off the bat. The air gets a little bit heavier with fall and coming in, right? Takes a little bit more to push it out of the park. So those teams then that lean to starting pitching, bullpen, fielding, those are the type of teams that can then have success in the playoff. As bats that were once hot in the midst of July and the beginnings of August suddenly then go cold, those other elements can bring you through the day. I'm not predicting it, but I'm just saying that this team doesn't have any cap on it this season, right now, this year. This is a team for the future. This is a team that's going to compete for World Series on into the years beyond, but it's also competing for one right now. And part of my optimism has been throughout the course of the season. You can look at my videos and saying this team's going to get better as we go along, I bet. Once we get to the full allotment of our lineup, full health of our lineup, look out. You've had development in a guy like Haggerty, which has been a saving grace, no doubt about it. But now gives you an extra plus bonus bat you hadn't even expected. You put that all together, along with a schedule that, as I also pointed to, gets easier as you go along here. It gets weaker here. You're seeing it here playing the Angels. It's going to continue to stay, for the most part, weak. You got a tough series against the Guardians and a 2-game set, I believe, against the Padres, and that's about it. The rest of the teams are teams that you should be able to run relatively roughshod through if all of these elements can maintain, especially if this Mariner lineup can get just to average in their ability. And they've got the ability to do it. They've got the ability to get to average. We need guys to just hit a little bit closer to their baseball card average. Take the back of his card, hit closer to average on that, we'll be good to go. Not at average, just closer to. And I'm going to maintain some optimism that they're going to find a way to get it done in that respect. Again, especially having Haniger back, especially with the development of Haggerty. We're getting fewer and fewer spots in the lineups now that are troubled zones, and this spells trouble in the future for future Mariner opponents. Elliot Magnus says the Ghost Pepper Slide. Gotta love it. Great game, Kyle. Great game. Let's go, Ethan. Matt Beeler, let's make the Undertaker stick as our bullpen nickname. I will for now, Matt, until I hear something better. And we'll see if we can make it stick. We'll try to make it a thing. Big Country says 63-54 on the year, and it feels so good. Doesn't it, Big Country? Say that out loud. Your Mariners are 63 wins on the year and a mere 54 losses. Wu-Tang Financial, beautiful ball in the ninth. That's Seattle. That's Seattle Mariners. That's Seattle Mariner baseball. They play that weird ball up there in the Pacific Northwest. I don't know how they do it. In Seattle Mariners. How they do it up there? They freaking got a voodoo up the butt. Or a leprechaun. Flavor on deck, so close to being 10 games over 500. Well, let's get it tomorrow, right? Robbie Ray on the hill. He's been handling business lately for the most part. Let's go, Robbie. As long as it's not an Astro lineup, Robbie's fine. And as Debo says, please do hit that like button if you do like what you're listening to here. It helps me out considerably. Voodoo Magic, Castillo undefeated since joining the team. Not looking like we gave up too much now. Not at all, huh, Voodoo? As I said at the time, you are getting a guy that is a true top of the rotation starter, nay, an ace in your rotation. And it is hard to get those guys. It's hard to have more than just, let's say, a half-year club control as we have them beyond this year, say nothing of being able to have the opportunity if they want to sign to a contract extension. And also getting the benefit within this. I know a couple of these games he's pitched in Yankee Stadium and now in Angel Stadium here. But if you look at this on the long term to get even more optimism in regard to Castillo, he's going from one of the more pro-hitter-friendly parks in Cincinnati and dominating within that hitter park to now going to one of the more better pitching parks in all of Major League Baseball in Seattle. And that's going to continue to bring a boon to him as well. Herbicide, what's up, man? D-Boy, Brandon, why is it with teams we're post to run over and kick ass, we don't, and teams that post to have trouble with, we do good against? I don't get it. Sometimes you play at a level of competition. I think more of it, what I think it is a little bit of the inconsistency that you get in also a young team, D-Boy, where a young team is sometimes going to give you those ups and downs, and they'll happen at the weirdest moments. But I think there's a little bit of that. Some of it's just flukiness. I don't think, it's probably a little bit of combination of all those three reasons with none of them really being anything in itself that's the one main reason why. But that would be my guess. I don't know if it's accurate or not, but it sounds good as a guess. Voodoo, good thing about the other playoff teams, they play each other a bunch, so hopefully they beat out each other while we cruise to the top wild card spot. Good point on that part, Voodoo. You look at who's the guys lined up with us really in this wild card ranking. You get Blue Jays, you get Orioles, you get even the Devil Rays dancing in there. And if those three teams is what's going to happen, because this is the way it's set up, right? It's not like football. You see this, the home stretch in football games on a schedule, you're going to be playing within your own division. Those teams are all going to have to play within their own division. And it actually benefits us because we don't play the Astros within our division. It's just Rangers and Angels that are the remaining sets that we've got to take on. So we feel okay about that. We're fine. We're fine with doing that versus what they're going to have to do. And I think chances are, to your point on that, Voodoo, they're going to knock each other down to at least a marginal degree unless one of them can truly take the lead there in that division as that wild card team. And then that's going to benefit us at the end of the day. And what would be really nice with this would be able to have some wiggle room, have some space. And I look at those last 14 games, if you look on the schedule, which are all highly winnable games. And that's where it'd be nice to have a little bit of breathing space to rest up maybe the rotation, get it all set up appropriately and right for the playoffs, right? Have Castillo as your first guy so you can bring him back game 4, even if you need to in a given series. Get him pitching twice, let's say. So it's good. It'll be nice to see if it can set up that way, D-Boy, or Voodoo, in theory. Brandon's right to say getting a strong, good starting pitching is equal to getting a starting quarterback in football. It is. It's a big deal because, again, it plays, not only does it help you out with what it requires out of your lineup, and this lineup with the Mariners, doesn't matter whether it's this year or previous years, about the last 15 years, scoring runs in the stadium has been a problem. So having elite starting pitching that doesn't require your lineup to get out as much is helpful. And again, this is the stuff that plays so well in playoff baseball. I've seen a good number of teams in my time who get in the playoffs, have a weak lineup, but have the strong rotation, have the bullpen, have the fielding, and they're able to steal a series away from a team whose bats just happen to go cold at the wrong times and don't have those other aspects that they can fall back upon on their particular teams. It's a benefit in the playoffs. It really is. It's a little bit like also D-Boy basketball. If you've got a team that's open and running up and down the court, and that's their style, you get them into playoff basketball, which is more slow it down, fewer possessions. Those teams can get thrown off. That's why Mike D'Antonio teams would often have troubles in the playoffs, or why even our Sonic teams back in the day would have troubles in the playoffs, because we were more of a team that wanted to kind of get up and down the floor on you. We wanted to run it. and you just couldn't as much. Well, I appreciate everybody watching. As D-Boy said, please do hit that like button on the way out the door. Always having fun doing this stream with you guys. I really do appreciate you guys watching, and the chat was awesome tonight as well. So Mariners get a win. It was a fun win, an odd win at the end. A lot of strange, exciting play, but you can't beat it, can you? Get a baseball game tight throughout, comes down to the ninth inning. Your team edges out the other team, a team within your own division, a bit of a rival, a team that's done its share of headhunting on your Mariner bats, and it does feel good. Does feel good. Right now tonight, feeling good here on a Monday night. Great win by your Mariner team. They take Shohei Ohtani down, though they don't go after him. They prolong him out enough to get to the bullpen, and now hopefully the rest of the series gets a little bit more downhill as we go along. And I dare I sweep, but I'm going to say it. Is a sweep maybe possible here? Let's get started on the winning streak. Do I dream too big? Dare I dream too big? I don't think so. Either way, I know you guys are going to be with me here as I continue to stream out through the end of this year. Let's keep it going. Let's keep the positive vibes rolling. Let's keep the Mariner Magic on top. And let's get to this playoffs, huh? First time in 20 years. Let's do it. I appreciate you guys watching. Please don't ever forget. Never forget. Go Mariners. Go. Let me say it right. I'm going to say it right at least. Go Mariners.